subscribe to the Down in Houston podcast, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you everybody for coming out tonight. It is my honor and privilege to first and foremost introduce to you your host for this evening. I'm going to call and dub this young man the king of social media right now. Put your hands together for Mr. Donnie Houston. What's up, what's up, what's up? And of course, a man that needs no introduction, but we all know him from PA to the H and worldwide. Make some noise for the trill one himself, Bun B. Give it up.
Good evening, everybody. Thank y'all for joining us on this beautiful evening where we just get to love on each other and celebrate ourselves. You know, we were sitting around and wondering, like, when they gonna call Houston? When they gonna invite us to the table? When they gonna acknowledge us? And we just got tired of waiting like Houston always had to do, and we did it our goddamn self. You know what I'm saying? And this room is full of people. Almost every person in this room has in one way or another contributed to Houston's hip hop culture, music, promotion, marketing, distribution, and just help put this city on the map. And for that, we thank all of y'all, individually as well as collectively. But we're gonna let Houston tell its story tonight itself. So you're gonna get to hear it literally from the horse's mouth. The people who built this culture, the foundation of Houston hip hop culture, and the people that helped lay some bricks on this thing. So we hope to have a really good conversation tonight, Donnie.
Cool. Before we get started, though, can we bring up the mayor? Can we get a round of applause for the current mayor of Houston, Mr. Sylvester Turner?
He came up the G-way.
Look, I was waiting for the panel. Hell, I didn't think you were going to bring me up this early. But look, I had to come by and recognize what has been accomplished with hip hop over the last 50 years. It started, of course, in the Bronx, 2 turntables and a microphone, but it didn't stay in the Bronx because it gravitated right down here to H-Town. And we've had some tremendous artists and still have tremendous artists when it comes to hip hop. And so we always take the time to remember folk, DJ Screw, Fat Pat, Big Mello, Mr. 3-2, Big Pokey, and the list goes on and on and on. And when you got folk from all over the city, artists that have come out of Acres Home, the North Side, the Fofo, you know, things have made a difference. But one thing about hip hop, may have started in the Bronx, Houston, but it's had an impact all over the world and has pushed the boundaries. But there's no greater talent, I believe, than the talent right here in H-Town. So I want to thank you all for highlighting H-Town. And in one of my final acts as mayor, you know, I wanted to come by to recognize that and put an official stamp on it from my perspective being the mayor of the city of Houston. And I'm not going to read it all in full because it talks about how we've had the rap battles at Rhinestone. Y'all don't remember that, do you? I'm a little bit older than you. But those battles, it talks about how Rap-A-Lot music and the Ghetto Boys. It talks about Swishahouse and G-Dash. It talks about the Bum B's and the Paul Walls and the Slim Thugs and all of that, you name it, it has existed right here in the city of Houston. No greater talent than you'll find in H-Town. So I have the privilege, as a mayor of the city of Houston, to say, therefore I, Sylvester Turner, mayor of the great city of Houston, hereby proclaim this day, December 13th, 2023, as Houston Hip Hop Day in the city of Houston, right here in H-Town. Hey, look, thank you all for what you do, because it's what you do that has helped to put H-Town on the map. And I don't care what anyone says, you have to respect, appreciate, and recognize hip-hop in H-Town.
Thank you, man. Y'all give it up for our wonderful mayor, Mayor Turner. It's been an honor working with you, Mayor, over these 3 terms, man, and we're going to miss you at City Hall. Your legacy is cemented in the city of Houston, and we thank you.
Can't do that. Now my term ends, and they asked me what I was going to do afterwards. I came here to be recognized, and you know, I think I got some hip hop in me, and you know, can't you use a brother like me? You know? All right, let me go.
Y'all give it up for Mayor Sylvester Turner, y'all.
Okay, all right, y'all. Now we're gonna get started. We're gonna get started.
Okay.
Because we're already a little late. But thank you again, Mayor Sylvester Turner. All right, Brian. What you say?
Yeah, let's get, yeah, I guess we're sitting here, right? We knew at this, y'all. First of all, give it up for our DJ for the evening, the Def Jam Blaster. Walking us through Houston hip-hop early days right now, and that's where this panel's going to start. We're going to start off in the 80s. That's where hip-hop in Houston started. Donnie, can we call our first panelist to the stage, sir?
Let's do it. It starts with Steve Fournier. Y'all give it up for Steve Fournier. Of course. Yeah, you said, yeah, whatever.
Any seat you want.
Yeah. Okay. Rap A Lot Records, Jay Prince. Jay Prince in the building.
He's coming. I think he's
All right, cool. Darryl Scott, DJ Darryl Scott. We got the first woman in hip hop, Choice. Choice is in the building.
Come on up, Choice. The first lady of Houston hip hop, recognized, y'all.
Captain Jack, where you at, Captain Jack? Willie D. Willie D is in the building. And last but definitely not least, K-Rino. K-Rino, where you at?
You took Steve. No, it's some second row with.
Man, yeah. I know. Oh, man. Oh. Go ahead. I'm gonna make it do what it do, baby.
Come on. Last but not least, there you go, Mr. Prince. Mr. J. Prince, come on.
My man right there. We up.
Scarface will be up shortly. He in another
Choice
panel.
in there, Choice. What's up, Choice?
See what I say? This is a family reunion here tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Jack.
We tried to open up seats, just so people know, we tried to open up seats for the general public, but so many people in Houston that have been a part of this culture, the VIP list turned into general admission. So there are some people in here who were able to catch some RSVPs. Y'all are some of the luckiest people in Houston right now. So I guess we'll start this story where it starts.
Hold on, Bun. Brad, get your ass up here, man.
Hey, man,
He right there. That's him right there.
Red will get here when it's his time. We put this together.
No, man.
Come up here, Face.
Get on up here, man.
No, Willie, when you put your panel together, you can say who come up here. Don't start that.
He's supposed to be up here.
We were talking to different people about different things at certain times. Willie, everybody can't talk in the first
Yeah,
panel.
you right, Bum be right.
He started at the same time.
Bum be right, Bum be right.
All right, well, Willie, don't come here trying to run my shit. You got your own podcast. You run your podcast.
But he started at the same time.
Bum be right.
It's a paper here. We have a plan. We have an idea how we want this to run. You up here. Why you worried about everybody else? You up here.
Man, I'm worried about everybody else because everybody else worried about me.
No, they weren't worried about you.
How you know that?
Because nobody said nothing about
But
you.
how you know that?
I'm telling you because I talked to everybody.
All right, come on,
like
man.
I
It's your
talked to
show.
you.
Go ahead and do it like you want.
Welcome to hip hop.
Yeah, that's right.
But I do want to start this way it starts. So one of the first songs ever created in Houston's hip hop was done by Rap-A-Lot Records with Jay Prince. Jay, can you talk about what it was that made you actually want to put some money down and spend some time and start hip hop in Houston?
Oh, yeah. Nah, let me think about what was that first song. Was that you, Captain Jack? Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. Captain Jack was one of the first songs I done in hip hop. And
Bass, you can come on in now. You might as well come on in now.
yeah, when I think about my reason for doing it, I was trying to get paid, man. I was trying to make it out the hood, break the poverty curse that, you know, me and my family was in bondage in for all those years. I felt like at the time that hip hop would be the new dope game. Yeah, just to be blatantly honest about it. You know what I mean? I saw it as a new way of making it that was legal. You know what I mean? So that's where all the inspiration came from.
So when you're making this record with Rap-A-Lot Records and Captain Jack is making his music, eventually this music got to get to the people, right? Somebody's got to start playing this music in the clubs and promoting this music in the club. One of the first people to do that is this gentleman right here on the far left in the front, Steve Fournier. Steve, can you talk about what it was like being a club promoter, hearing hip hop, and like, I need to start playing this, Houston needs to hear this and be a part of it?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to say that thank God that I'm here, blessed to be here with everybody. And I've seen some people I ain't seen in years. This feels great. 1979, let's do that. 1979. There was a club on the north side called Struts. It was one of the biggest black clubs in the city. And all we could play was funk and R&B because that's all that was out, was funk and R&B. Van Mason, Jimmy Bohorn, Parliament, all that. And then about a year went by and the club was just still being packed. And I met a lot of record promoters from all over the country that would come through the club, bring me their music. They hooked me up with DJ Red Alert in New York. And DJ Red Alert put a little special package together for me. He sent me 3 records, Test Press records, another record, and another record. There was 3 of them. And Rap-A-Lot was one. And I mean, you got me on my brain here. it's emotional because it was a passion with me. When I heard this first record, I knew this is what I was going to do for 26 years of my life. This is what I was going to do. Like Prime Time said, he had a calling. I had a calling. This was my music. The first record that was ever played in Texas, in Houston, at any club, any rap, over any speakers, was T-Ski, Catch a Beat. That was the first rap record played in Houston, Texas. And that later on that year, to bring more rap to the city, I said, well, what can I do? What can I do to bring some more rap to the city and get more people interested in it? Because everybody, the radio damn sure wasn't playing it. The record stores didn't even know what rap was. No one had no idea, but I heard this music. And I said, this is what I'm gonna do. And later on that year, we brought the first rap concert to Houston, Texas. The first rap concert ever in the city, or in the state, or in the South. In 1980, we brought Curtis Blow to Struts. That was the first rap artist ever to play in this city.
Nice.
And that just gives you a little history of how far. I mean, there's a lot more, but I know we got time limit.
Right.
But Curtis Blow and the reaction to the people to Curtis Blow when he was on stage was I had about 20 or 30 wannabe DJs that seen it on TV, or they seen it or heard about it, and they rushed the stage to see DJ AJ Scratch.
Oh, wow.
Scratch the records. They never seen anybody scratch the records. And they all gathered around the stage to see it. So, you know, after that, year after year, it grew a little more rap, a little more clubs, more raps, because the only place you could hear rap was in the clubs. That was it. That was it. And for about 3 or 4 years, was just the clubs. And the clubs, I made sure that I told the people that were dancing on the floor, here's the radio station's phone number. Call their ass. Call them, you want to hear this song. I go to the radio station to make the commercials for the club on Monday, and they stop me in the hallway. Man, what's the name of that song you were playing this weekend? People blowing up our phones. We can't keep the people off our phones. Play the record. I'd give them a copy of the record, knew damn well they weren't going to play the record. Knew they weren't going to play it. But there was tricks we did to make sure rap got played on the radios. And then, anyway.
Now, one of the first DJs to actually actively play rap radio on a record would have been Mr. Darryl Scott over at KTSU. What was it like for you to introduce hip-hop through a university college radio station, because all the major stations in Houston weren't playing hip-hop at all?
I don't know about that one.
It was all just fun in the beginning, and I wasn't really looking for it to transpire and go any farther than that. But once the mixtapes is where it actually all started. I go back a little bit farther than Steve, with Fatback King Tim III being the first rap. And this was at a time I was recording music on 8-track tapes. Okay, that's how far back I go with the rap scene. Matter of fact, even before that, before Sugar Hill Gang came out, a little farther back than that, Walter D and I was rapping off of Freedom, Get Up and Dance, The Break. That's what we would do. A little corny rap, but it was, you know, it just came across and it resonated. Went from that point to working at the skating rink on the north side. Lil James can attest to this. Super Skate is where we would do that rap. Lil James' brother, Thelton, Sir Rap-A-Lot. Sir Rap-A-Lot wanted to get on the microphone as well and do what we was doing. Now, this boy, oh man, he brought it. He brought it. It was like, whoa, bro, we got to up our game a little bit here. Then it went a little bit farther than that. That's when finally, when Sugar Hill Gang came out, I'll never forget this. Everybody bum rushed me, Walter, and Thelma said, y'all came out with a record. Y'all came out with a record. It's like, no, this is not us. This is some of it, but that was the first time. So it just, it's like I said, it just escalated from that point and ended up being called by Stacy Porter and KTSU saying, hey, man, we need to get what you're doing because we come out to the clubs, but we want to get this, what you're doing, on the air. And that's where it really all started.
Wow. Nice. We talk about a lot of firsts. Captain Jack, they've said plenty of times, as far as releasing the first rap record in Houston. Can you talk a little bit about that, the inspiration about that? How was the impact you remember, coming out as the first, known rapper in Houston,
He's the first man with the mic.
You good right now.
Many mics I done dropped. Anyway, just want to, first of all, I want to give thanks to God.
Yeah, come on.
Because as everybody knows, we have lost a lot of people that we all in here personally know from the hip hop. In Houston, we've lost a lot of people from the Screwed Up Clique and others. Pimp C, my main man. Last time I saw him, he was at my birthday party.
Wow.
And then he flew out to California. And when I heard about it, man, I said, God, my God. But that was my boy. Bun B's always been my boy, but me and Pimp communicated more. Bun used to be quiet. He talks now. Yeah, he talks now. He used to come to the club and they do sound check and Bun would jump up on stage and turn flips and stuff. All kind of stuff. But anyway, getting back to the business. I got my start in 1977. In 1978, I was at the Big Apple, New York. 5411 Griggs Road.
Yes.
And from that spot there, of course, the Screaming Eagle. And then, as time went on, kind of like Darryl now, I used to put on records, instrumental records, while I was at the Big Apple, and I would rap on them. People would walk into the club, and I'd start rapping about them as soon as they walk in and make up a rhyme about whoever it was that I knew that walked in. I started making up rhymes about them. So I always knew how to rap because when I was staying in Louisiana, where I'm from, my mom used to walk through the house making things rhyme. She could rhyme like I don't know what. And and she was a church woman. So, but anyway, I'm gonna fast forward all the way to Rap A Lot. I had made a record in '84 called Jack It Up. And that record did real good. Before I did the Jack It Up, 2 years in a row, we never got to record it and put it on the tape, but we just was doing it at the radio station. If anybody remember the Five Slammer Jammer.
Five Slammer Jammer.
And every week, Bun, we would go to the radio station and change up the lyrics every time that Clyde and Akeem would win another game.
Wow.
And we'd be talking about Louisville, how they beat them, and then how we dunked on North Carolina, or how we beat Kentucky. And so I would change it up every week. And every 15 minutes at Love 94, they would play that record every 15 minutes. I said, man, it just went off. But everybody was so hyped on the basketball team until they were just blowing that thing up. Never got no royalties off it, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So moving on, I after that, I did the record Jack It Up. Flew to Memphis. Charles Bush flew me to Memphis, and me and John Williams, Mickey Blue, from Mickey Soul Food. Mickey Blue, my man. So me and Mickey Blue, we flew to Tennessee, and we recorded Jack It Up. Now I'll tell you how that came about. I don't know how old we go back in here, but anyway, back in the day, there was a group out of Houston, R&B group, had a song called Tighten Up.
Yep.
Archie Bell and the Drills.
That's right. Archie from Port Arthur.
So Charles Bush walked in the Big Apple one night, Steve, and I was on the mic rapping and rhyming with the instrumental, and boy, he stood back and he watched me say, he went back, he called his secretary, he said, call Captain Jack, tell him to come to the office. I come to the office, he said, Captain Jack, you remember that record by Archie Bell and the Drells, Tighten Up? I said, yeah. Man, your ass is, I want you to do Jack It Up. You do Jack It Up. I said, Jack It Up? He said, yeah. I can't write it, but I got the title. I said, okay. And that's how Jack It Up came about. And then that was in '84. In 1986, Mickey called me again and said, man, I want you to meet Jay Prince. Me and Jay, I never forget, we met on Gessner in the parking lot of Oasis.
Wow.
In the daytime.
Wow. Wow.
In the daytime, I met Jay in the parking lot. And he introduced me to Jay, and we talked. And he was telling me all about Captain Jack, and Jay said, man, why don't you come on by the studio and let's do a little something. So we went in and we got together, and Jay flew me all the way to California. I went to California and we recorded some records, and we came out with Sexy Girls. At the same time, it was the birth of the Ghetto Boys. But it was a different set of Ghetto Boys. You know, Ready Red and Box. And they had a song called Car Freaks.
That's it.
They was trying to get some airplay. But like you said, you know, getting music played on the radio was a beast. But when I put my record together, and me and Jay, I told Jay, I said, I'm gonna get Sexy Girls played. You ain't gotta worry about it. And the same day that I took the record to the Magic 102, Ron Atkins was the program director. And I took it in there and I let him hear it. He liked it. And before I could get home, that record was on the radio the same day. I called Lil Jay up. I said, Jay, turn your radio on. Jay turned the radio on. He heard Sexy. Captain Jack, you did that.
In his voice.
Yeah, oh yeah. He said, you did that. And I told him, I said, well, I'm gonna get Car Freaks played. And I got Car Freaks played. And next thing you know, man, Rap-A-Lot took off. And then once he came along with the Ghetto Boys, it was game over. And the rest of it's history, y'all. I got a lot more to tell, but we don't have enough time.
Yeah, no, we could definitely don't have enough time.
By the way, Charles Bush told me to tell everyone hello. I spoke to him the day before yesterday.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I wish we could have Charles here as well. I want to talk to some of the MCs on the stage about, you know, what was it that drew you guys, and we're going to save the lady for last, of course. I want to know what it was that drove you guys to want to be a part of hip-hop culture. Will, I'll start with you. What was it that made you want to rap? Was it closer to what Jay was talking about? It looked like a nice little hustle to make some money, or you wanted to actually be like a rapper in the game?
I wanted some money.
Straight out the back.
I wanted some money. Initially, it was really just a challenge. A friend of mine named Steve Mayweather from the 5th Ward. We was in the hood down the street at Kennedy Place, and he challenged me to write some hip hop, write a song after we was listening to Run DMC. And I listened to him, I listened to the cadence or whatever, and I was like, I think I can do that. So he went in his house, I went in my house, we both came out in an hour. He said his rap, everybody started laughing. I said mine, they started raising their eyebrows, and I knew I had something. But before I go any further, I want to thank and salute you and Donnie Houston for doing this, putting this on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There's been a number of these type of tributes, and I've turned all of it down. You know, after the Grammys,
No, don't be messy, Will. Will came in here messy.
But I turned it down. But I couldn't turn this down. I couldn't turn down the opportunity to be in the same company with the pioneers, the people that really helped shape and mold hip hop, the culture, into what it is today. Just looking around and seeing so many familiar faces, it really does my heart well, you know. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that you guys thought enough of me to include me in this. And thank you for your perseverance, because initially I said no, and then y'all hit me from every angle. You hit me with Red Boy. You hit me with Latoya, and if you know. But I'm thankful to be here in the company of all of these giants of hip hop.
Right.
Without you guys, ain't none of this possible. I know some of us ascended to higher ranks in the game, but you know, it's got to start somewhere, and it did start with a lot of you guys in here who are unsung heroes. If I start calling names, I'm going to miss somebody. I'm going to miss somebody, but I'm telling you, bro, I really do appreciate it. But for me, you know, it started with just a simple challenge.
Big Swift.
And I you know, I did it well, and I started competing in talent shows. And then, you know, I had the first rap that I wrote, it was like 8 bars. And for about maybe 2 or 3 months, I rapped those same 8 bars. I would battle people with those same 8 bars. And every time I get to the end, I'd be like, man, I ain't gonna even worry about you no more, man. You ain't got nothing for me, you know. But I only stopped because I ain't had nothing else to do. I ain't had no other rhymes. So I just stopped, and eventually I wrote another 8 bars, and then I wrote another verse, and then another verse, so that people wouldn't catch on to what I was doing.
Is this at the Rhinestone when you were doing this with the 8-bar thing? Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I know you were a part of that.
Well, okay, I wanna say this. The song Ballhead Hose. This guy that's right in front of me, he's partially responsible for that. Because when I came up with the idea to write it, you know, women had just started wearing hair pieces, and, you know, like well, they had already been doing it, but it started becoming more obvious, right? And it was just a few women. I would say about, you know, you go in the club, maybe, you know, 5% of women are wearing these hair pieces and stuff. And so I had this idea to write this song, and it was to deter women from wearing it. I thought that I was going to start a revolution. And I thought the women was going to hear it and be like, ooh, they was going to be so embarrassed that they wouldn't wear the weave and stuff, right? But it was like I put the fuel on the fire. But before all of that happened, I went to Steve, and I said, Steve, I'm thinking about writing this song called Ballhead Hose. What you thinking? He just bust out laughing. He was like, yeah, write that shit, do that shit. And then I went to R.P. Cola, and I said the same thing to R.P. Cola, and he started laughing. He was like, yeah, do it. And I went to them because they was the host of the Rhinestone Wrangler, which was the biggest and the baddest hip-hop club to ever exist in H-Town, and probably in the world. The Rhinestone Wrangler was the shit, right? And they were the host, and I had a lot of respect for them. And they used to host the battles, the rap battles. So I went to them, and I figured like if they would like it, then I'll go ahead and write it. So I went ahead and wrote the song, and I came back the following week, and I performed it. Shut it down. And after that, people were like talking about me like I was like a real rapper, like I had put a rap album out, like I was getting money. Right. And I would be seen and I would go into the mall and stuff, they asked for autographs and pictures and stuff, but I wasn't getting any money. Fast forward, I signed with Rap-A-Lot, and we're in the studio making my first album, Controversy, and Jay is like, yo, what about Ballhead Hose? And I say, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want that on my album. I don't want nobody thinking of me like I'm a comedian or something. I ain't nothing funny about me. I'm finna come with the heat. And Jay was like, nah. Now this is Jay. Damn, Will. Man, that's the coldest song you got. So I'm like, man, I don't want to put that out there. So we did like we normally do. We took a poll. And, you know, I said, well, wait a minute, let me get my boys in here. So, because at first it was just everybody from Rap a Lot, just Rap a Lot, J people, right? I said, let me call my homies. So I called some of my homies over to the studio. So we got like 20-something people in the studio, and we take the vote. Say, all right, everybody who think the Bald Head Hole should be on the album, raise your hand.
Straight up in there.
Every damn body raised their hand except me.
Even the people you brought.
Even the people I brought. And I said, fuck it then. And that's how Bald Head Hoes became a thing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
K-Rino, the holder of the Black Book. One of the fiercest MCs ever, period. What drew you to hip hop, my brother?
My story is similar to Will, you know, just hearing it and want to do it and battle rapping. Everybody said for about 3 or 4 minutes, so just give me 3, because I'm gonna sum mine up a little different.
Go for it.
Houston is G'd up from the start. Everybody hanging out Sunday at McGregor Park. Houston is 3rd Ward to the SWAT. 14 and a half mixtape by Darryl Scott. Houston is keeping bread in your pocket. Riding with the home team, Astros, Oilers, and Rockets. Home of the soldiers, so it ain't no folding. Legendary 34s, Akeem, Earl, and Nolan. Jumping out at the club sharp as an arrow. Rhinestone Wrangler, Chocolate Town, and Carol's. Coke cans to get in Astro World, no ticket. And you ain't from H-Town if you don't know Wicked Cricket. I'm paying homage because it's only right for me to do. French's chicken on Scott, we do it for TSU. From the past to the present, shouting out to the great. Still love Phi Slammer Jammer, repping U of H. Who remember Club Boomerang? Now I'm reminiscing. Killing shows with the whole South Park coalition. Jay Prince had the vision, so we started believing. Ghetto boys made the whole world respect our region. Most City to 5th Ward, yeah, I know you loving this. Street military, please, can I have another hit? Got our own style, ain't no place like it in the world. And the whole planet got screwed up by Robert Earl. Crazy weather, but still better than any place we know. Shout out to my Mexican family, my Latinos. We the trendsetters, we stay ahead of the game. Haim Clark got way too many legends to name. Most of the year, H-Town be hotter than the oven. Remember the screw shop back when it was on Cullen? Great tapes in a screwed up click wrecking them beats. Kids Jam was the first radio station for the streets. You could pick any record label, it's all H-Town. Rap a Lot, Swishahouse, Big Time and Jam Down, Dope House, Sucker Free, the homies at Rec Shop, Perion, Suave House, Straight Profit, and Shortstop. Hey, Houston is Greens Point to Acres home. Playing high school football games inside the dome. Slabs with trunks rattling, folks chasing the paper. Club Gucci's all the way to Jamaica. Going to different parks, hooping Timmy Chan after. Back in the days, loading up and riding to the Kappa. Still laughing and ranking even on our down days. Buying your favorite rapper's new album from Sound Waves. Catching the metro to travel throughout the town. We couldn't afford the Galleria, we just went to walk around. When the bus stop rolling that dark, we used to walk. Let's take it to the north, Studewood and Dewson Park. Mr. A's, the Shuns, Cornbreads came later. Every rapper trying to be seen on Street Flavor. Every hood apartment complex I showed up in. Houston taught me the game when I didn't know nothing. That's what Houston is to me, man.
Hey, Reno.
Legendary K-Rino.
Y'all gonna hear a lot about a lot of Houston rappers over these next hours that we talk in this room, but make no mistake about it, there has never been pound for pound, bar for bar, verse for verse, a better MC from this city than the man you just heard from. I couldn't think of a more succinct way to wrap up Houston, Texas in a rhyme. And Face, you gotta come after that.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
But if anybody could do it.
And this is what I want to ask you, Face, because we all know you as Mr. Scarface, but when you initially came into this game, you had a different name. Can you speak to where the origins of DJ Action came from? Because I've known you for about 30 years and I've never seen you DJ. That don't mean you can't. That don't mean you can't, because you do a lot of shit I didn't know you could do. But tell me where the name came from.
So I'll start from close to the beginning as I can. Me and Will Ross went to junior high school together. And that's Def Jam Blaster. We went to junior high school together. So Will was a DJ, and I was a DJ too. And we used to always DJ. And then, I was rapping too. Darryl Scott was probably the biggest influence when it came to DJing to me, because you hear everybody talking about chopping it. Darryl Scott chopped it first. No, Screw. Now let's get it straight now. Why we saying Screw? If Screw didn't do it, it's not Screwed. Let's be real clear. Let's be clear. If Screw didn't do it, it's not Screwed. It can be K-Rino, it can be Willie D, but it can't be Screwed, because Screw didn't do it. Let's be clear. Now, Darryl Scott chopped it and he slowed it down.
Say that.
Ain't it funky now? Remember that? I don't know if y'all really know about Darryl Scott mixtapes, but if you was from, you knew about Darryl Scott and Blast Records. So I was a DJ first, bud. And I'm probably still better than 98% of the DJs that DJ now.
Come on now, boy.
To this day.
Come on.
He said that
To this day, right now.
to you, Mr. Ross. He says this too.
I'm saying that to my DJ too. What Domo at?
Domination, DJ Domination.
Man,
Yes, sir. Face can hold his own.
See,
He can hold his own.
Yes, sir. Now you being messy like Will.
Listen, man, I crash Watts, I crash Def Jam Blaster, DJ Aggravated don't want none, Domo don't want none. Who else DJ in here? You don't want none. Who else? You don't want none.
Watts in the front row.
Y'all don't want none. I'm telling you, I'm still a better DJ and producer than I am rapper. Okay? Let's be real clear. Yeah. Oh, YouTube, Icy Hot, you can get some too. You can get some too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Don't get hot started.
Whatever you do.
Another burger.
Whatever you do.
Respect.
Don't get Icy Hot started.
Let me get you a burger hot.
Here go a good one right here. Me and Icy Hot was beatboxing in junior high and high school. Icy Hot, we went to the Reds together. Yeah. We ain't slept on you, Icy, but I'm telling you, man, when it came to the mixes and cuts, man, I bust you up. I'll bust you up.
We'll do it tomorrow, Hot. Don't worry.
Let's not forget about Chill now. Let's not forget about Chill.
All right, so
Chill is the man too.
DJ Chill in the house, y'all.
so
Make some noise.
DJ Chill. Well, yeah. So me and Will Ross was making. Well, Mixmaster B was making the beats, right? But we was finding.
I was making some of them. He made some.
Oh, you know what? You had a 707 first, didn't you?
Yeah, we had
Okay, so Will was making the beats. I was rapping, and I used to catch the 33 Post Oak to Sharpstown Mall, and I ran into a cat by the name of Beto.
Yes, sir.
They had a little studio in the back of Sharpstown Mall that it had like a 2-track. So I would beatbox in the beat, and I would freestyle on the other track. So Beto heard it, and the funny thing about Beto had a tape case. He called it his briefcase, but it was tapes and papers and contracts and shit or whatever. And got a chance to meet with Beto, met up with Beto, and we started doing music, and we was hustling at the same time. Now, hustling, we ran into a cat named Troy at Shortstop Records. And Troy's brother Mike was my partner. Beto and Troy was partners. Me and Mike was partners. And I was rapping, man, in some kind of way, Beto and Mike convinced Troy to put me in the studio. And ain't that how it went, Will? Well, you was there, shit.
Yeah, that's how it went.
Okay.
We had big sessions. We just booked the whole day over at Ultimate Sound with Big Richard.
With Big Richard.
Big Rich. Rest in peace, Big Rich. Man, we just went in there. Me, you, and 3-2 just went in there.
Man, I'm so glad you're here to bring up Big Richard. Man. So, we made a record off of the Paid in Full beat, man, and I was writing a rap, man, and the rap was talking about hustling. And it was like we was loving that shit because that was our life. And Chris Barrier, 3-2, made a record. I don't remember, what was the name of that record?
In that same session, we did a song called Look at Me Now.
That was it? The blah, 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 blah.
That was called Violence.
Violence, okay.
Yeah, I did that beat before Dre did it.
Before Dre did it for the doc,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 3-2 had commercial rap. My rap was, underground is what they called it back then. It was underground.
Yeah.
And Troy wanted to go with the radio record because he wanted to get it played on the radio. He knew they wasn't gonna play all that cussing that I was doing. And I felt slighted, I'm like, damn. In some kind of way, I met Steve Fournier. Steve's always tied into this shit some kind of way. I met Steve Fournier in the parking lot of a nightclub, and I played in that tape I had of the song called Scarface. In some kind of way, Steve let Jay hear that song in another parking lot.
Everything happened in the parking lot.
Everything with Jay happens in the parking lot.
Right.
Trust me.
It was the same parking lot.
Was it the same parking lot at the same time?
Walked up right in the back.
Oh, so James was hiding. We thought Bushwick was Lil J. That was an enigma. We didn't know who Jay was. He was like, damn, because we was from the South Side, right? But Jay was in the listening. He heard the song Scarface, and we had left or whatever. And a few days later, man, there was a white Benz with a black top and a little short dude that hopped out that looked like Nigarachi.
Yes, sir.
And from there, the rest was history. But Bun, let me say this. Willie and Jay got into it for the money. I got into it because I wanted to be the best.
Yes, sir. You did that.
I wanted to be the best. I spent a lot of time with a lot of MCs, and I took and grabbed pieces from Willie and Reno and Hot and Flea and whoever else is in here. I grabbed some shit from the Fifth Ward Boys, but I wanted to make sure that everybody in this world knew that Brad was cold as fuck with that pen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They know.
Yes, sir.
Not only can I rap that shit, but I can write that I can play it, I can make the beats for it. People say I'm cheating.
You walk up the block too.
I ain't walked up the block no more. I don't do that. Jay would always come to the studio with concepts and ideas of different topics to
Expound.
to write about. He couldn't rap at all, but he had plenty game, man, and he bounced that game off of us, and we put that game in the words, and we put that game on wax, and we sold a bunch of records.
Idealist.
Yeah.
Hey, since you ain't getting it for the money, can I have them the royalty checks that's coming in?
Just had to go.
Yeah, I want some money, man. I need that money, man.
Now, in the midst
The
of
money
all this-
came eventually.
I know, but can I have it? I mean, you don't
Sure,
want it.
Willie, you can have it.
Willie.
Willie, you can have it.
Okay, cool.
You can have it.
Y'all heard him? No.
Circuit breaker.
Now, in the midst of all of this happening, everybody in Houston is falling in love with hip-hop and falling in love with the culture. And up until now, we've only heard the male perspective, but eventually, women in Houston wanted to be a part of this culture. Choice, what was it like for you being a woman in Houston, seeing hip-hop happening and wanting to be a part of it?
Hey, everybody. First of all, I want to say thank y'all for inviting me. I really appreciate it. I did not get into rap because I was trying to be a rapper. So I got into rap because of a bet with my best friend. Steve Fournier.
Every story begins with
Steve
Steve.
Fournier was at, I think, it might have been Struts or Flashers. I can't remember the club now.
Bone Shakers.
No, it wasn't Bone Shakers. And so they were having a rap contest. And it was a girl, her name was, I think, Cinderella. And so she was rapping, and every week she was slaughtering them. So one of my friends, we were at the club, and she said, "Bitch, I bet you $100 you won't get in the contest next week." I said, "What?" She said, "Bitch, I bet you $100 you would not get in that contest next week." I said, "Bet that." So for a week, I wrote a rhyme. I said, "Oh, what have I got myself into? I don't know how to rap. I don't know how to rap." So I said, well, I was gonna get real cute. That way when they booed me, maybe they'd be like, well, damn, she fine, she cute, you know.
Mad crush on you, too.
So she went first. And so Steve was like, do we have anybody else? Do we have anybody else? And I was like, so I got up there and I did my thing. I said whatever I said. And so he said, okay, you know, raise your hand. This one, yeah. Then when they raised my hand, yeah! I was like, what the fuck? And I won. So I was like, wait a minute, I wasn't supposed to win because I don't have like a part 2 to this shit. I just have like a part 1, right? So I won, right? So I told my friend, bitch, where's my $100? Where's my goddamn $100? So it just so happened that somebody from Rap-A-Lot was in a club. So it got out in the streets that, hey man, Kim can rap, Kim can rap. I went to LA, I came back a couple of weeks later, everywhere I went, somebody say, Lil J looking for you. I was like, oh, what the fuck did I do? Lil J looking for you, Lil J looking. I was like, looking for me for what? For what? Same club, same bad time, same back channel. I see Jay, him and his crew. I was like, hey Jay, did you need me? He was like, no. I was like, are you sure? He was like, no. I was like, oh, okay. Whew. I get ready to leave. Somebody say, Jay, you did want to holler at her about the rap. He's like, oh, yeah, go get her. Same parking lot. He was like, hey, I'm getting ready to do something, and I want to put you on the map. I'm getting ready to start a record company. I was like, but I don't rap. He said, no, that ain't what I heard. I say, but Jay, I don't rap. He said, no, that ain't what I heard. Let me be the judge of that. So they gave me some material. I went over it. Now, at the same time, or around that same time, Willie had a female that had been working with them that was actually, in my opinion, better than me, great voice. They called us in. She went, I went, she went, I went, she went, I went. I was like, hey man, I gotta go to work, I got a job. One more time, she went out. So after it was over with, he said, look, you know, I gotta go with the best person. You know, this is strictly about business. Both y'all were great. So I go to tell the girl, I said, oh, congratulations. He's like, we gonna go with you. I was like, what the fuck? I don't rap. So when people would ask me about how how are you, how did you get started? How do you shop a deal? I didn't know because I never had to do that. Now, Jay did ask me, he said, what's gonna be your name? I was like, I think I got a name. He said, what's the name? I said, just kind of like a little pet name somebody used to call me. He's like, what's that? I said, well, I had this boyfriend used to tell me, God damn, you got some choice. And so I just said, okay, I'll go with choice, and I just knocked off the rest of the sentence, right? So that's how I got the name.
Y'all give it up for Choice, man. Let me say this too about Choice. Let me say this too. A lot of women out here, they talking that shit, they talking that raunchy shit, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people credit like Lil Kim and all them for being the first women. But I would say Choice was the first woman to really get up the mic.
Absolutely.
Yes, she was the first. She was the first.
Yes, absolutely.
But you know what? I think a lot of people don't know this part of the story. By us being located here in the South, you had LA music, New York music. But a lot of what we created here, Ghetto Boys, me, it started here. And if people don't get the shit right, then they're gonna always think, oh, it started with NWA. No, it didn't. It started with the Ghetto Boys first. It started with them first. Oh, it started with Lil Kim. No, it didn't. It started with me first. Even with Jay, he asked me, he said, what are you gonna wear? I said, what you mean what I'm gonna wear? Some high pants, some high heel shoes. He said, you gonna rap in high heel shoes? I said, well, I damn sure ain't rapping in no goddamn tennis shoes. So it's things like that now that I see people like Nicki Minaj or Cardi B or whoever. If you go in reverse and look, no females, not Salt and Pepper, not whoever, they did not have that type of look. But what happened when you're the first of something, a lot of times people don't know what to do with you.
Facts.
They don't know what to do with you. And so instead of them having some nuts and courage and saying, you know what, I think they got something here, let's go ahead and go with it, they don't do it. They have to wait to make sure somebody else gets the money. And then they're like, oh, that's why you see so many females now. So many females now. So it was much harder with me back then because of how it was for all of rap. First of all, they didn't like underground rap. They didn't want to hear any guys cussing and all of that, let alone a female. So I always remind anybody, anywhere I go, that you cannot steal from us. Texas, motherfuckers. That's where I stay.
Right. That's where I stay.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good way to wrap this up, right?
Yes. I love it.
Yes,
Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at the foundation of Houston hip hop right here in living color. Right. I'm so glad that we got to hear this directly from y'all and we didn't have to get it from a book or a magazine or third hand. Go ahead.
One more parking lot story. Rap-A-Lot's first album, The Ghetto Boys, came through my ears first in the parking lot at McGregor Park. Go ahead. I'm
Jay
sorry.
Prince is the parking lot man.
We got to find this parking lot and make it a historic marker or something, man.
I want to definitely shout out to people like DJ Lonnie Mac, rest in peace, DJ Wiz, people like Chill and the crowd. There were a lot of people working in those early days. Walter D.
Aggravated.
Aggravated.
No, and we can't miss Rodney either. Rodney.
Yes, that's a great
Jazzy Red.
Harvey Love.
And rest in peace to Wicked Cricket, for sure.
Jazzy Red.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our 80s panel. Give it up for Houston hip hop history.
Yeah.
One more nugget, Bun B.
Yes.
One more nugget. Icy Hot did the beatbox on Bald Head Hoes.
Come on. That's why you put some respect on his name.
That's a history.
That's drum beat though. That was my beatbox beat.
Okay.
But I ain't no asking for no money though.
Jazzy Red in the house too.
Yeah, shout out to Jazzy Red, the OG. Thank y'all so much.
Some of y'all gonna stick around for the 90s, though, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, cool.
As we wrap this portion up, I'm going to play a lot of the songs that everybody talked about. I did some of the Captain Jack, but I'm gonna hit some of all of this stuff. I'm gonna start off with my man K-Rino. So while we get ready for the next...
That boy killed it already.
While we get ready for the next panel.
All right, let's get this second panel started. If I could have your attention, I fed y'all burgers and now you know how to fucking act. Be quiet. God damn, I can't take y'all nowhere. This next panel is going to be about the 90s, so we're so happy to have Captain Jack and Steve Fournier to also be a part of this conversation as they were a part of the conversation in the 90s. Jay Prince, we'd love to have you back up here if you won't mind coming back up. You're literally responsible for one of the biggest rap records of the 90s. So we definitely got to bring you back up here if you don't mind. We appreciate it. Coming to the stage as well, he is the Dawn straight out of Herschelwood. Please give it up for Mr. 713 himself. Lil Keke in the building.
Are you in the back? Okay, all right, cool.
He'll be back shortly. Representing New Orleans and Gumbo Funk, please give it up for the super producer himself, N.O. Joe.
Thanks, man.
The mastermind behind Rec Shop Records, responsible for some of the biggest hits in Houston hip-hop and hip-hop history in general. Please welcome D-Reck.
Okay, all right. When we talk about documenting the culture early on, man, this is one of the early guys who's really doing this thing, man. Matt Sonzala.
Pusher Mania. And last but not least, what can we say about this man? He's been a vital part, an instrument in Houston's hip-hop culture from the early 90s all the way up to present day. He's one of the greatest engineers, instrumentalists, producers, you name it, he does it, and he does it for everybody. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mike Dean.
Sit in the front.
Thank you, Mike. So I guess, Jay, we'll start with you. Hip-hop is now in the 90s. You put out some of your first releases. You understand the system, the game. You can see the things that they're going to allow you to do and the things that you just going to have to do yourself if you want to get it done. As hip-hop becomes more commercial and becomes more of a nationwide fad and music videos and all these things come into play, how did you feel Rap-A-Lot needed to grow to go in the right direction to take Houston to that next level?
Well, I felt one of the things that we needed to do was take control of our city. At the time in those days, a lot of out-of-towners, New Yorkers, and different people was regulating our city, where DJ and radio was concerned, mainly radio, but they would even come in the clubs as well. But we had Jack, Steve, Fournier, a lot of relevant DJs, but for some reason they didn't seem to give us the respect that I felt like we deserved where radio was concerned, and that was really important where our culture was concerned. So I had to do some awkward things to help get respect where the city was concerned. Really creative things, because I understood that we were going nowhere if they wouldn't give us the opportunity to be heard. And they were really discriminating against us bad, country this, country, a lot of discrimination was taking place, and I went to war. I'll just be honest, I went to war and made a statement to all that was, in a lot of these powerful positions. Y'all gonna have to give us a chance. Now, if the people don't like us, that's one thing, but y'all not gonna be able to not give us a chance. So that was the foundation that had to be laid, and from that foundation, a trail was blazed where they was giving us opportunity to be heard, and after that, it was history.
Now, Steve, you're in the clubs, you're seeing these changes start to happen. you're seeing all this different influence come in from other places, but you know that Houston has a scene, that Houston has a burgeoning hip-hop scene that's making its own music. How did you decide to find that balance in the clubs between, like, how much of this outside music do you allow to be played while making sure that Houston artists and companies are still being represented in the club?
Well, you know, I always respect New Yorkers' hustle. You know, they had like a really amazing hustle. But, you know, as I said, we just couldn't allow their hustle to overpower our hustles. So therefore, at one point, I didn't care if I didn't hear a New York album. You know, it was all about Texas and the South with me. So, you know, I had help, man. I had a lot of help with DJs such as Steve Fournier, R.P. Cola, Captain Jack, Mean Green. You know, Mean Green is not here.
Yeah, Ricky Green. Couldn't be here with us today.
Yeah, you know, I'm really thankful and grateful to a lot of these guys because they helped lay the foundation, not only where Houston is concerned, but the whole South. You know what I mean? Because we was the first that put our hustle down that so many imitated. And, you know, a lot of people don't know that. So, you know, everybody that contributed and built off of that foundation, I just like to say thank you. Swishahouse, I see my man there. You know, they amazing things. Screw everybody that contribute. You know, it was from that foundation, and that's why we're forced to be reckoned with today.
Absolutely. Steve, what was the clubs like back then, playing these Rap-A-Lot records, seeing the city grow, different artists, and the profile growing, and trying to make sure that Houston's identity stayed intact, and that you guys were making sure that Houston artists was getting fair play in the club so that the radio could kind of follow suit?
Well, when anybody from Rap-A-Lot came in, anybody, my favorite thing to do if the floor was packed, I'd say, wait a minute, stop the music, motherfucking Lil J in the goddamn house. And I would do it for every artist, every single one of the new artists that was out, to let them know this is Houston. I gotta play this other stuff because the club's gotta make money.
Right.
And so I gotta play this other stuff, but every chance I had to play a Rap-A-Lot record, I would. There was no question. When there was a brand new Rap-A-Lot record, Chief be bringing me a Rap-A-Lot record. He'd bring it to me. And now feel sorry for the DJs in the city that didn't get the message. Because when Rap-A-Lot came in your club, they came 8 or 9 deep to make sure you played that one goddamn record. And then I make sure that I played it again. And so that the influence, talk about New York and how they try to hold us back. When the Rhinestone Wrangler on the north side was happening, this was not the one on the south side by the Astrodome, the main one, but when the north side opened up, we were brought all these artists in. We were bringing artists every week. We were bringing major artists in. You played the club. And they sent Nelson George.
From New York.
From New York. Grammy-winning writer for Billboard magazine to interview me. Want to know what in the world are y'all doing in Houston, Texas? What y'all's buying our music like it's crack. What's going on? You know? He interviewed me. He came to the club, stood up in the DJ booth, and seen 1,600 people. I've been to New York many times. They ain't got 1,600 people in the club ever. You know? And they got little clubs, not very many people. He came down, seen all that, brought his ass back to New York, and all he said in the article was, met Steve Fournier, stocky white boy playing in a barn.
That's tough.
Wow. That's exactly what he said. And he didn't know that I owned the largest rap pool in the country, rap pool of America, sending rap music throughout the South. He didn't know the years I invested in my passion, but he went back to New York, and that's all he wrote. That's New York trying to keep us down. Then after that, I had discussion. And I like to say it like Jay would say it, but I can't. I had discussion with Leor Cohen and Russell Simmons in the New York Marriott. And they asked me, they go, man, what can we do to make our music sound like your music? I said, that's what I said. What? What can we do to make our music sound like your music? I don't know. You know, we do what we do. South is funk. South is beat is slow. It's different. And they go, well, you know what? We're gonna put you to work. I worked for Def Jam for a year. Mm-hmm. I learned everything. And after that year, I said, hey, it's been nice. Brought back to Houston, and I learned their game. I seen how they were playing us. And so I used all of that to make sure that our artists in Rap-A-Lot and all of our artists, all the rappers in Houston got their chance, because I seen what was happening. And I could go deeper, but I won't. I got no dog in the fight no more, but I won't. But they were doing some serious stuff. So, you know.
You're welcome to curse. You can curse if you want.
You know, before I'm going to say this before I pass it on, the mic on. Everybody knows the box, 97.9 The Box. But does anybody know where or how they got started? I'm going to tell you, because I'm being recorded now, and I want, before my time passes, because I'm getting older, I'm going to let you know. Jimmy Olsen called me, and he was at station KISS, or KHYS. And he said, you know, 97.9 The Box, they're about to flip. What do you mean flip? They want to play rap. And I said, oh my God, after all these years of no one playing the rap, opportunity of a lifetime that they're going to play more rap and do more mix shows and more everything. And I said, well, you know, he goes, Steve, I need a favor. They ain't got no rap. They have no rap at the radio station. They're going to do this tomorrow. Well, I was the only one in town that owned the Rap Pool of America and had every rap record in the country in my record pool. I boxed up 3 boxes of new music and brand new music, all rap. Dollied it up to the box, gave it to the music director at the time, I forgot who it was. Him and Jimmy Olsen carted up all that rap overnight. So the next day, the box would happen. That's how it happened. That's the truth. And needless to say, over the years, I don't agree with some of the stuff the box has done. They've been good. They've got some music played, and lately they have, but just the way they went about it and the things they've done, it's just not kosher. But that's what I wanted. I just wanted to get that out there for you people that get it on record, that's what actually happened. And then after we did that,
A year or so later, Jimmy went to Magic 102. Jimmy Olsen went to Magic 102 because the box was kicking their ass with rap, that the city finally got to hear the rap that they've been hearing in my clubs and Jack's clubs and the clubs and in the mix shows. They finally got to hear it. And Jimmy went to Magic and then went back to the box for the next 2 or 3 years after that.
Now, Jack, in his earliest days of hip-hop would have like a set, right? So let's say a nightclub is going from 10 to 2, like we all know. Most of the club music was not rap music in the early days. When did you notice that the shift needed to be made to where we can't just have like an hour of rap thrown in? We got to do most rap, because this is back in the days where guys would still walk up and ask a girl to dance during the slow jam era. I don't know how many of y'all ever went to nightclubs like where people used to slow dance. I don't know how many of y'all did that. I can go around and count the gray hairs, but I ain't gonna do y'all like that. But rap used to have like a little set, so it would be mainly all the music, and even with Paul at Jamaica, that's why I remember the most, because it would be reggae all night. They play about 30 minutes of R&B, another 30 minutes of rap, and then back to reggae. You know what I'm saying? But it was a Jamaican club. They were supposed to play reggae music. But they were also a club that broke a lot of hip-hop. When did you notice that rap needed to be the majority of the music being played in the club?
Man, oh my goodness. You know, me being a rapper.
It might be biased.
I was ready for it, you know, because anything that came out, all the way back from when the Sugar Hill Gang came out, and you know, they only had a few at that time. And then when I did my Five Slammer Jam, I did my Jack It Up, and my Sexy Girl on Rap A Lot, and we started easing on towards 1988 and 1989. 1990, the transition went major. Because I was working at a club on Antoine in 1989, and it was called Club Amnesia.
I remember.
Club Amnesia. Later on, it became something else. Yeah, the Underground after that. But it was Club Amnesia. And so the owner of the club, I hate to bring him up, but I ain't gonna say his name. The owner of the club had made me and Big Steve a deal because he said that I'm gonna split some money with you guys for New Year's Eve and stuff and all that kind of, you know. And man, we was looking forward to that. You know what I'm saying? So, make a long story short, he screwed us. So that was 1989, transitioning into 1990. So a little partner of mine that used to come to the club all the time, of course, he was a hustler. And he said, man, y'all don't need to be getting screwed like this, man. I got some money. Y'all need to get your own club. So, man, we got Palladium. 1990 Palladium. 5900 North Freeway, exit Tidwell.
I remember that commercial.
In between Tidwell and Parker Road. Right there on the side. Big old giant ass club. Made a deal with a white boy out of Dallas, Texas. Sold us the club for $80,000. We gave him half down and paid him monthly. Paid him off. Got the club, and man, from that point on, me and Steve started booking shows like a bitch. We started bringing in shows, and you know, I think we did the 48-hour Ice Cube show when Ice Cube had went solo from NWA, and they came in and filmed the whole deal. And we started bringing in people like Raw Bass, Dougie Fresh, LL Cool J, and a whole lot. It just went on from there. So the 90s, man, I would say the 90s is when we really started, you knew rap was going to be around. You knew it was going to be around. And then Jay is growing at the same time, you know. Ghetto Boys is hot. He got Convicts. They bouncing and they doing their thing. And, you know, and then the resurgence of Scarface is about to take off. So things, from that point on, we had the LA Dream Team, we had DJ Quick. We just, them early 90s, that's when rap just went crazy. And you know, I gotta tell y'all this story real quick. We got I don't know how I got my hands on the little bitty cassette tape of a group that blew my mind. Some boys from Port Arthur. I had a cassette. This was a demo of a guy named UGK. And I never forget the song, Tell Me Something Good, man. And we got that shit to Jimmy Olsen, and he played the damn bitch off the cassette at the radio station. He liked it so much. Those guys got hot so quick. At that time, they was with Big Time Records. They was at Big Time at that time. And man, I said, I gotta have a show with these dudes. And we brought them to the north side and did a show, and you couldn't get in the place. Well, I'm talking about, we had to turn people away. The fire marshal came and told us we couldn't let no more people in. And Pimp C saw how many people came, right? Pimp C said, man, we gotta do something about this, bitch. he told Russell, he said, man, hey, y'all making some money. You know what I mean? Pimp was about his paper. Yes, sir. Pimp was about his paper. And Mama West was right there. You know, so those 90s, man, and moving on up and all the way up until close to the 2000s, because everybody was talking about rap was going to die, wasn't going to last. Right. Shoot. Man, you know, what was really so good about me being a club owner and a promoter, and my partner, Big Steve, who passed away, y'all, a year and a half ago. For those of you who don't know, remember Big Steve, 6'7" dude. Yes, sir. Yeah. But man, I miss the shit out of him. Yeah. You know, 'cause we talk every damn day. You know, football game come on, me and this guy on the phone like we sitting in each other's living room talking about the past and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so, you know, it was like, what really, really, really made me feel really great when all the rap, because you know, if I booked a show in New York, from New York guys, or LA, or Atlanta, if I booked the show, I got to pay for airfare, I had to pay for hotel, I got to take care of the rider. Yeah, I got to take care of that rider. And some of the ridiculous shit they want on the rider was ridiculous. You know what I mean? So, you know, and we took care of business. But when people like UGK, Lil Keke, Big Mo, Big Hawk, oh my goodness, Lil O, and on, you know, and Scarface and Willie D, the whole Rap-A-Lot family, I didn't have to book New York no more. I didn't have to book New York no more. So Jay, I saved a hell of a lot of money. And then I got people like this guy from packing the place out. And you know, and Scarface packing it out, Ghetto Boys, and all that, you know, so you know, it was just really, really dynamite to have hometown and guys straight out of Texas and Houston, mainly, just coming in, and I mean, they were making damn good music. It wasn't no joke. And you know, and the same thing, just like Jay would say he had to talk to some of those DJs, he never had to talk to me because he brought me good shit. Jay ain't never had to try to strong on me or talk to me crazy or have somebody talk to me. He knew Captain Jack was gonna take care of him because he brought me good music. Only thing I said to Jay was, bring me a hit. If I like it, that shit's on the air. I'm playing it. Bring me a hit. That's all I care about. And then there's this story here. Before he came out with Mind Playing Tricks on Me, Jay walked in, and we were at the club on Parker Road. He brought me an instrumental of Mind Playing Tricks on Me with no lyrics. He said, Jack, play that for me. Let's see how they react. Okay, I put the bad boy on there. As soon as I'm listening to it on the headphones, I'm already grooving with just the instrumental. Ain't got a lyric on it, but the music is dope. People reacting, people dancing off it. I mixed it in and everybody's liking it. I said, Jay, you got another one. I don't know what the song gonna be, but you got another one. Next thing you know, he come back with the finished product. Game over. End of story.
Nice. Man, we talking about the sound of rap a lot, and we got two of the biggest, sound architects from the label, man, with N.O. Joe and Mike Dean. Can y'all talk a little bit about crafting that early Rap a Lot sound and, my Never Seen a Man Cry, and just all those big timeless records that we still enjoy today,
I'm interested in how you even found your way to Rap a Lot records.
Yeah, I wanted to tell that story, kind of.
Because you didn't start in hip hop. You started somewhere else and eventually made your way to hip hop.
Yeah, I started in Mexican music, playing with Selena. Like I produced her first record. It was on the radio and shit. Then I lived in Angleton, Texas, and I just produced local rap groups out there, like in Angleton, Freeport, and they started. I think Peter Reardon. We hired him to mix our record. And then he recommended me to Jay. So March 1st, 1992, I remember the day. They said, oh, you got to go meet Little Jay. I was like, oh, okay. So I went and met Jay. We hit it off well. I guess he liked me. I don't know, He gave me a job, put me on salary. They gave me a key to the studio, gave me the manual to the mixing board, and I learned how to work that shit, Yeah, I had a couple of guys at the studio to show me shit, but I stood up all night reading that. The manual was like that thick, Yeah. Learn how to work all that shit inside and out, how to fix it,
And then Joe, you made your way here by way of New Orleans. How did you end up in this Houston music scene?
Well, I met Scarface in New Orleans at a sound warehouse. And I actually had been producing music to present to him, but didn't know how to get it to him because I was in New York. I was on a break from New York in New Orleans, and Big Mello, rest in peace, Big Mello. I saw Big Mello and Face they were in Sound Warehouse, and I said, man, I went up to Big Mello. I said, that's Scarface? He said, yeah. I said, look, come out to the car. I got some beats, right? So Big Mello came out to the car. I played him maybe 10 seconds. He said, oh, hold up, man. He ran back in. He got Face. Face came out. Face was like, man, you got more stuff? So we went back to I had a townhouse right around the corner from the store. And, I was pulling out, we was using floppy disk then, so I had the MPC, the first one with the armrest on. And,
60.
Yeah, the MPC 60. And so, they came over there, man, and, they was loving the music. And Face was like, man, I want you to do my whole album. So I said, man, it'd be a pleasure. So he said, you need to come out to Houston. So, came out to Houston. He said, I need you to meet Jay. And I was like, okay. He was like, cause I knew of the Ghetto Boys, but I didn't really know a rap a lot. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Cause I was kind of really into my own world, and the backstory is I got my start in New York with, working with Jodeci and all of that stuff there, just kind of like an understudy, you know what I'm saying? And when I came here, it was just like it was a shock, and met Jay, and, Jay was like, man, I hear a lot of good stuff about you, man.
Just to keep count, this is the 4th Jay Prince impersonation. Just so we know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm keeping count.
So I went back to New Orleans, and after I played, I was playing records. They had, I think DMG was in there. It was like about 15 rappers around me, and I brought my drum machine. And the way I mixed my stuff in the drum machine, it sounded like a record. Because I had, stuff from like the SSL, and all my drums was like real, and I had, live instrumentation from the guys I hired in New Orleans and stuff like that. So everything was actually in the drum machine. I sampled in the drum machine. And I said to myself, I say, man, if I could get this music placed with like a Ghetto Boys or a Scarface, I could change the sound of the South, because a lot of the stuff had more of like, it was like 808s, and the drums weren't like really hitting. And in these records I had when I was like 16, 17 years old, those records are on the Till Death Do Us Part album. I started those records back then. One of the first rappers I ever worked with, he actually rapped on No Nuts, No Glory. It ain't shit.
I remember that.
Yeah. And he got pissed off because he was like, man, you stole my beats. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I got back to New Orleans, and Jay called. My mom said, I got to my mom's house, and she said, somebody named James Smith is on the phone for you. So Jay said, hey, man, why you left? I said, well, I don't, what do we do from here? He said, man, we working on the Ghetto Boys album, and we want you to come in and do some shit on it, man. So, what you gonna do?
That's a good might be the best.
And, I was like, I said, man, I'm down, man. I really appreciate it. But, I like to take one little break and just say thank you. Thank you. Thank you to Jay Prince, Scarface, who they believed in me, man. You know what I'm saying? And I really got a chance to come here and change the sound of what the South is, with the organ and the live bass lines. And Mike Dean, I like to thank Mike Dean too, because we sat many days in the studio and just making sure that sound was right. Because when I got back to Houston, I think we recorded at a beach house. Yeah, we recorded at the beach house in Galveston. And I did it on my little 4-track. It was the Till Death Do Us Part album, pretty much the whole album. And I remember Jay coming out there, and he had his pen and paper, and he had the concepts, and I was like, man, this is dope. Big Mike had just joined the group. I had never met Willie D. So, Big Mike had joined the group. He had a bunch of hooks, and, I'm like, damn, I was pinching myself. I'm like, I can't believe I'm, working with Scarface and, the whole crew. And so, we put the record together in like a few days. I mean, it didn't really take that long. And man, after that, like Jay said, well, we need to go ahead on and get it pressed up. I said, whoa, wait a minute. I said, we need to, get into because I came from like Chung King Studios and stuff like that, so they had SSLs and Neve boards or whatever, yeah. So I'm like, man, it's no way, we gotta that sonically, we have to be up there with New York, you know what I'm saying? So, man, again, thanks to Jay Prince, he came and brought us to digital services, and I think that was the first record, because we actually recorded that on with the 24-track mic.
The 24.
It was digital.
Sony machines, yeah.
Yeah, it was the first, probably the first digital.
We recorded all digital from then on,
Yeah. So, you know, from then on, man, you know, worked on that record, and, you know, that's where I met Lester Pace and Mel Smith and, you know, a whole bunch of people, man. And, you know, the rest is history. I think that record came out, and it was like the number one hip-hop record.
Yeah.
That album. And, you know.
And when Joe came with the drum machine, he lit a fire under all our asses, you know. We were making beats on the ASR, you know, and I remember I came up with the 3 MPC 3000s.
Yep, yeah, exactly.
We had them before they came out, and I sold you one.
Yep, you sold me 2.
Oh, I did. I kept one. Okay.
Yeah.
I still got mine. Yeah. Yeah. Like I don't remember me and Joe long nights, long lunches at Fuddruckers. You know, giving Michael Jackson's name for our name. Remember that? Yeah, we had a lot of fun making these records, and you know, flipping each other's hats on the top of the studio. You know, just a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah, we were like. I mean, late nights, man, we in there. I would wake Mike Dean up in the middle of the night at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Hey, Mike, because he was over, like, we was working in B, the studio B.
Because I was working on, like, different projects in A. I'd be going back and forth. That's when, like, Pimp C would be in A with Bun, working on, like, we'd be mixing, like, Tell Me Something Good, all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and we'd be in B making beats, so 3-2.
Right. Man, so afterwards, you know, we once we you know, we did the Ghetto Boys album, and during that time is when I met Pimp C.
Yes.
And I remember Pimp C coming in the studio when Roger Taus and James Hoover, yeah, and Mike D was playing guitar, and yeah. So you know, Pimp C was like, man, hey man, say dawg. Man, that guitar, man, how you get that guitar to sound like that, man? And I didn't know who Pimp C was, and I was like, you know, oh, you know,
like, who's this
Wawa.
guy? You were like, who's this guy?
Yeah, I was like, who's this guy? So, you know, I'm telling them, I'm like, so me and Pimp, we in that, you know, just chopping it up, and he was like, man, you need the organs. That's that B3. That's the church organs. Turn those up. I said, man, I can't. If I turn them organs up, because Scarface was very finicky about his music. So if I'd have turned those organs up on that record, he'd have been like, man, take that shit out of there, right? So I have to kind of bury him in the music, you know, on that
trick, right?
Huh?
That was the trick. We bury all the cool shit until it became cool.
Right. And remember, see, there's a whole live version of the Tell Depp Do Us Part album, but you know, we had to use a lot of the samples, so what we did is just mix the live instrumentation under the samples.
Exactly, yeah.
And then, you know...
Then we started taking the samples out, though. Then we started taking the samples out.
Yeah, we started taking the samples out.
That's when it came the real Houston shit to me, you know.
Absolutely, because...
It's something screwed, chopped, and screwed, you know.
Well, again, like they were saying earlier, is that this thing, it became a cost issue, right? Like, trying to create certain rap records, if you got samples in them, then the cost goes up considerably to clear the sample, to pay the people that wrote the record. Then you don't own as much of the record as you did if you would have produced everything originally. So that's where I saw Joe and Mike Dean come in with what's known as interpolation.
Yeah, that's where Jay would tell me, he'd go, Mike, you know what to do? He'd say, change it enough to piss them off.
but enough where you couldn't get sued, though.
Yeah, exactly, just to piss them off, you know what I mean? Yeah. You remember that man when we did The World is a Ghetto? I had to go play that shit for him in person. Yeah. Because they didn't believe it wasn't a sample.
Yeah. Right.
I went to this man's house in L.A. and played that shit on the piano. That was me. I was like, thank you.
No, and I was gonna say, and all of your expertise, like Pimp being around both of y'all, made him really want to raise our sound up. So when we got to the point of Riding Dirty was the third album, and it was the first time where we told him we didn't want money. We didn't want an advance on it. We wanted equipment. And the reason Pimp wanted equipment was because we could side hustle with it. And once we get the money and pay for studio time and all of that, once it's gone, you don't have the equipment and you're done with that. People was like, if we get the equipment, I can make beats for niggas, we can make songs for niggas and side hustle with it. So we took equipment instead of, and we did a lot of the rough production, the pre-production at the house. But when it came time to actually fully make the record, Pimp wanted to do it in Dolby. He was very adamant about trying to get it mixed to 5.1.
Noise reduction.
Yeah, and so he went straight to Joe and told Joe what he was trying to do. And Joe said, hey, I know this guy named Skip. Skip lives out in Katy, and Skip at the time was like the leading radio commercial.
Skip Holman.
Yeah, the leading radio commercial producer in the country. He had the largest sound bank in the country. And Joe brought us over to his studio, and many people don't know this. Riding Dirty was probably one of the first albums, not just rap albums, one of the first albums recorded in Pro Tools.
Yep.
We had Pro Tools, if I'm not mistaken, it was the beta version.
Yep, we were.
It was the beta version. So they were giving that to different producers to see if it would help the process. And Joe brought that to the table, and that's why Riding Dirty, the level of instrumentation, the level of mix, the sound. If you listen to Riding Dirty, you cut Riding Dirty on in your stereo and put the volume up to 5. Right? It's gonna be loud and feel it. But if you play anybody else's record at 5, it's gonna be like lower. The quality's gonna be lower.
I know this ain't no Q&A, but I got a question for Mike. Because you brought up Pro Tools, and a lot of people, they know your power and what you do, but a lot of people don't, you know what I'm saying? So it's a rumor that you still use like the old Pro Tools to this day.
No, I mean, I had to update it. You know what I did carry around all the Pro Tools just for like 1 meter that I liked for a while. But no, Jay bought me my first Pro Tools in like 1995, I think.
Yeah, because that's what we recorded Riding Dirty.
And we, you know, I had a 16-track thing, and like, I remember when we were working on Smile, that was the only way I could get Tupac's vocals on time because it came off a reel and it was wobbling, so I had to go in and edit every word.
Man, anybody know where Skip at? Because
I haven't seen Skip on
Skip got the goods, man. Skip got the goods. Who know where he got? Yeah, no, I saw him. Who said that? Oh yeah,
she knows everything.
Skip got a gold mine, man.
Now all of this is going on, and a big reason why we did this is because we wanted to make sure that Houston's hip hop history was put in proper perspective and posterity, right? Yeah. One of the first people who had the presence of mind to realize that Houston's story not only needed to be told, but documented and shared with the world is my good friend, Matt Sonzala. Matt, yes, please applaud that. Matt, when did you decide that Houston hip hop story needed to be told succinctly?
I mean, early on, I always felt like I wanted to ride for the underdog to an extent, you know, and I knew being in Houston, we were in this big city. Houston pride, Houston proud was a big thing, you know, and to see what everybody up here has been talking about in the clubs, I was in their clubs, and I would see how the crowds would go crazy for the music from their home. Oof. I would see how the crowds would go crazy for the music right here in Houston. And it was like, man, yeah, this mic is not great.
Get my Donnie on.
A little engineering up here.
Sorry. And it was like, this is so dynamic and so incredible to be in the clubs and to see how Houston really reacted to Houston. And in the early days, of course, the Kids Jam's the earliest, but when the box came around and all that, and to see how they really grew and became what they became because they supported Houston. They were in the community. Chill and I used to drive that box van around in the first couple years of the box, like in the beginning. And we would go from, you know, Conroe to Galveston and Katy to Baytown practically. We'd see the whole spectrum of what was going on here, and it was just so crazy to see the support not just the Ghetto Boys would get, who were really important to me, but the other groups coming on and rap a lot. The South Park Coalition, groups in the South Park Coalition who weren't getting played anywhere else, but here, the people were going crazy. So it was really important to me to like try to push that to the magazines and the other outlets and to try to figure out how we could do that. And when like the Source would come down, a lot of times I'd drive them around. Like I drove them around when they came for the Ghetto Boys. I first met Jay and Willie D and the Ghetto Boys. My first opportunity in Houston rap was being a student of audio and video production, and my teacher was Jeff Wells, who owned Sound Art Studio, and he came up to me and said, "Do you like rap?" And I said, "Yeah, man." He's like, "You like rap?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I do." He's like, I got this group called the Ghetto Boys. They're going to be recording in my studio pretty soon. I need like an intern, somebody just kind of be there and watch the place over and all, just be there for it. And I was like, the Ghetto Boys, for real? I can be in the studio with the Ghetto Boys? Man, and it took a while. It felt like me for forever till it finally happened. And when he called me, he said, yeah, they're coming. I want to tell a quick story. My first experience with Willie D was incredible, and Jay. If you remember on We Can't Be Stopped, in the beginning, Jay talks about kicking the door down. Well, Willie D had the idea that they had to make it realistic, and they really needed to kick the door down, and he had his eye on a studio door, not just a door, like the double pane studio door, not expensive. And Jeff wasn't there, no one was there, it was just me, the intern, and Willie D's like, we're gonna kick the door down. It's like, no, Will, no, you can't kick this is a studio door. And Jeff's, there's no cell phones. I'm like leaving voicemails for Jeff, like, hello, I need you to call me back. And I remember Jay was just sitting there, and I remember having this, like, Jay, can you please, you can't kick down the door, man. And Jay was like, he kind of just killed that situation. So I was really fortunate to have that experience and to be able to walk in the door. I mean, 3-2, I always tell this story, like back in the day, in those days, the days they're talking about in those clubs, you didn't go anywhere and not see 3-2. 3-2 was at every function, every event. He was in the studio when that record was recording. He was in everywhere you went. And so that was kind of like, I went right into like university, like walking into there to learn about what was going on here and to really see on the front lines of what was happening here in Houston. And then as it progressed and as things went on, seeing all the things, it was like, it's so important, man. People don't know that Crazy C remixed Method Man, the B-side of Protect Your Neck from Wu-Tang Clan. The Southern Fried remix of Method Man is what got Wu-Tang on the radio in markets that weren't New York or Philadelphia or something. That's a fact. Not just Houston, but Crazy C from right down here, who produced so many incredible underground hits and hits from here, one of the greatest.
That's who hired me to play guitar on something first.
See?
On a Big Mellow record.
Yeah, and I mean, my brother Andrew's here, Big Mellow's son, man. I remember going to their clubs. Big Mellow ran it. Big Mellow was the biggest thing happening. Outside the Ghetto Boys were above everyone to a big extent, but I remember when Big Mellow ran this whole city.
He was larger than life, literally, musically, but also physically. He was an intimidating figure.
And it was Big Mellow, and when Choice's second album, Choice's first album is one of my favorite albums of all time. I just want to state for the record, I love that album. But her second album, when that came out, her and Big Mellow, you couldn't go to a club and not just see them, hear them, the presence of of Rap-A-Lot and of the South. And then, you got Lil Keke here, so we're gonna have to move on in the 90s and get to what really, after that era, what we're all talking about, the Screw era. I always say this, there's better DJs and there's bigger DJs, but there's no DJ in the world that touched the world like DJ Screw, that touched his community.
Facts.
Like DJ Screw did. No DJ ever in the history of DJing affected their community like DJ Screw did. And yes, and that's the transition I'd like to see, because we're talking about the early 90s, and I think it was like 92. I remember Big Mellow telling me that DJ Screw was dope, and I remember being like, why is he slowing the records down?
I remember the first time I met Screw, it was with Mello. I met Mello over at Screw's house, and him and I don't want to put people's names out there, but Kim and Kenna Bell was there, and they were doing something different at the time. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I got introduced to Screw, and that's how I got introduced to Drink, I would say, at the same time. Now, a lot of this stuff that we're talking about in these nightclubs and out like that, everybody involved with this stuff, the older people, like there weren't a lot of very young people getting involved with hip hop. But that's why I think it's important to talk to Keke, because as big of a legend and as prominent of a history as he has in this city, he was pretty much the baby of the bunch. I'm saying, even when I met Keke was the hottest rapper in Houston and a senior in high school. being this youngster and watching this culture evolve and all these things growing, man, like, and seeing the South Side actually begin to have a place, because a lot of the Houston's hip hop came predominantly from Rap-A-Lot, which was a North Side company, with the exception of like Face and Big Mello and people like that. But Screw really not only helped carve out an identity for Houston, but specifically a South Side identity. What was it about wanting to be a part of that and representing the South Side drew you to hip hop, Key?
First, we didn't really pursue it as hip hop at first. We didn't really, say we're gonna go make some records and we're gonna do a group and we're gonna do, this was a community driven thing. Hoods, Third Ward, South Park, Harlem Clock, and it was just you go with your neighborhood and you make the tape. You pay Screw to make the tape, you make the tape, and we came together as we started, I'm gonna go get on his tape and he gonna go get on his tape, and the camaraderie of the neighborhood started to bring it. Like I say, we never really started on, hey, I'm gonna make an album or we do this. We just straight started with freestyling, and to be honest, people wasn't really digging us, on no freestyle. It was kind of little, when he bring up 3-2, I remember us meeting 3-2, and we looked at 3-2 and Bun and all, and we looked at y'all like real rappers. You know what I'm saying? Y'all make real music. Y'all make real music. You know what I'm saying? So we started from a freestyle standpoint, and me, hiddenly, I always had a little bit in me as far as I wanted to do music. I was the kid that was in the lunchroom at the Word and in the Jones and they beating on the table and everybody crying. So I really did all that, rapping in the car. So then the thing about going to Swishahouse, I was already making my way and making my waves in my neighborhood. Being a popular in my neighborhood was first, because it was a neighborhood thing. This wasn't really about me going to Swishahouse, doing the Screw tape. Being popular in my neighborhood was the main thing at first. And once I got that, I remember us waiting to get the Swishahouse. You know what I'm saying? Months and months and months, and we practicing on the corner, and we saying what we gonna do, and we hearing Fat Pat over here at the High Rollers, and we gonna get Fat Pat, we gonna get him. I'm telling you, we gonna take it over. And we don't got $1, we don't got a car, we catching the bus, we ain't no kind of way in the mix. You know what I'm saying? But we just got a dream that we gonna get to do this. So from a standpoint, and that was just to get to his house. That wasn't really to become a rapper. It was just really
just to get on the
just
tape.
To get over and get a tape.
And this is the thing that I recall distinctly. My first time meeting you, I went to Swishahouse, and he was like, hey man, we got this record with Key. We want you to hear it. And he brought me in the front room. And I'd never been in the front room. And we sat in the front room when he played Pimpin' the Pen. And that's when he was like, this finna be like a real, like Pimpin' the Pen was the first actual real record to go out to radio and be distributed. This was like, we want to take this from just because, like you say, you weren't trying to be an MC, but you were just so damn good at rapping. Like I remember, and anybody here that's a Screw Tape fan, oh, we gave it a chance. That's the hardest shit ever. The peeking in my window freestyle to me is the coldest one, because it's when we start differentiating, right? Because then it's just, this my birthday tape, come rap. This my tape, come rap on this. And this is the tape where it's like, okay, you want to rap? Go ahead and rap. Oh, nigga, you terrible. Get off the mic. Like, get off the mic, because you making us look bad. You making the hood look bad when you get on this and you ain't really representing. I wondered why they went to the youngest person, because everybody was Pat at the time. But you wanted to be great. Like, you wanted to be the coldest in the Screwed Up Clique. Screwed Up Clique ended up being one of the coldest crews ever in hip hop history, which put you at a pedestal without you even really knowing. But that's what me and Pimp saw. We was like, y'all, this the right one, this the right record, and this is definitely the right dude. You know what I'm saying? And I never really talked to you about that. But and again, he was a senior in high school. Niggas that Screwed Up Clique had kids and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but it was unmistakable.
Everybody, Pat was about 4. That's why I tell people all the time, Pat is 4 or 5 years older than me, all of them. So when we looked up to Pat, the thing about the 3 in the morning, the Pimp the Pen, that was most important is because if you know Screw, Screw is slow as that music, man. You know, like, it ain't just the music slow. Screw slow as hell. You know, like, these tapes are starting at 3 in the evening and it's 12 noon when we go into the house, man. So them tapes y'all hearing, we done them 30 times that night. Screw done stopped, he done went to Jack in the Box. It's a long time. So the 3 in the morning was taking an actual longer time than everybody was thinking. People don't know that the first 3 in the morning really was tapes that y'all was gonna get ready here, Tupac on it, whatever. These were records that Screw couldn't get cleared at the time. So that he done it with Big Time Records, that's why you seen the artists from the Big Time on there, you know, the Point Blanks and everybody else, the UGKs and everything.
And they had Pocket Full of Stones in it.
Pocket Full of Stones. Well, for me, I brought up how slow it was because it was taking Screw. After they told him that he wasn't gonna do that first one, I knew it was finna be a long time then. You know what I'm saying? We finna start all the way over from scratch and he finna do, so Screw was taking months and I was begging every month. Please let me get on it, please. So it wasn't just about me getting to do Pimp the Pen, and I'll never forget, just like y'all bringing up names, I recorded Pimp the Pen at Maestro Studio. Yeah, at Maestro Studio with no boot. In the middle of the living room. Microphone, and Screw just called me, beat me. Screw beat me. Hey, where you at? It's time. And I remember catching a ride going to Missouri City off that side street. And and Screw was shocked because, to be honest, he had no idea that I was gonna do Pimp the Pen in that particular way. He felt like I'm gonna come in there and do it as a freestyle as I really do. So I remember coming in there and hitting that draped up, I'm dripped out, know what I'm talking about, and it shook him. You know what I'm saying? From a standpoint of where you hit that at. You know what I'm saying?
Shook
like,
the world.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And we had already been practicing a little bit. We had already been doing DEA songs and doing stuff like that. We started getting into the groove, putting little groups together before we got there. So to do that Pimp the Pen, it wasn't just like I was chosen to do it. I was adamant about I wanted to be on this. I knew that 3 in the morning was going to be the biggest thing ever. You know what I'm saying? It was going to be the first Screw tape that actually hit the store. So as I tell people all the time, man, this is one of the secret hidden things. Like, if you go listen to 3 in the morning, Fat Pat ain't on 3 in the morning. See, these are secret. It's not because he didn't want to be Fat. Pat had already was older than me. He already started pursuing being a real rapper for real. You know, he's hanging out with 3-2. I'm still a baby. Still catching the busted Screw House and still getting on these Screw tapes. I tell people that's why I got more Screw tapes than everybody, because I stayed over there as a kid going on and on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? So Pat and them had already moved on, started doing what they need to do. I was steady going on and on. So to get that opportunity to do Pimp the Pen, that was the biggest thing that happened to me as a youngster, as a kid, and that happened to me at 19 years old.
Right. I want to move over to D-Reck, because, you know, the Rec Shop story ties into this whole Pat and Keke thing we talking about, right? Because you came in the game wanting to sign, was it Keke?
Nah, I wanted to sign both of them. Okay. I'm like, who's the big dude and who's the little dude? You know what I'm saying? And I like both of them, man. It was just, then I ain't gonna lie, Pokey too. Pat told me, I asked Pat, I said, well, what's up with Pokey? You know how Pat was. Pat wanted to eat it all. Pat like, But nah, man, you know, first of all, man, as far as Rec Shop and like the things that we did, man, I just felt like I fell in love with the whole beauty of that new genre sound of music. It just represented so much to me. It still do now. And, you know, when we created Rec Shop, that was our goal. It was like, man, I'm going to jump up in here and put my 2 feet down and fight the same battle that you really been hearing everybody up here talk about. Like, it's always been us against them. It's always been we not getting recognized properly. It's always been misunderstood. It's always been doubted, you know what I'm saying? So to just imagine how hard it is just to get music played from down south, then here we coming from the Screw tapes with this new sound, you know, and you go on the radio and you know, Lil Sam, and he ain't hear me. I remember us, you know, like now y'all hear it and it's like, it's hands down, you know, like you hear Pat, you hear Slim, you hear all this music now that we take for granted. But back then, even here, you know, radio didn't just accept it at first, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to to all my guys up in here, man. I see GTO that have been quiet, you know what I'm saying? I see these are people that took a chance on it, you know, like early in the game. 97.9, you know, like anybody can say, it's been the ups and the downs with the relationship, but the one thing about it, you know, they have supported us for years, you know what I'm saying? Then we had Southwest Wholesale, you know what I'm saying? And thank God. So it was the perfect recipe for a young man like myself that was just ambitious. I'm ready to try to see what I could bring, you know, to the game, and it was just the perfect recipe because we had such a solid underground scene coming from DJ Screw and Michael Watts, you know what I'm saying? Like, so people like Keke and them was getting that platform, and I felt like all they needed was somebody to come and just kind of put some money and some foundation and some structure and some type of marketing plan and add that to the sauce, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we was all about, you know what I'm saying? And I can't say nothing without like pointing out like people that played a big role. They up Tight Eyes, D got it, you know what I'm saying? No D. We created was like a rec shop family because that allowed us to operate quicker and faster and man, you know, just so much fun, you know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate that Pat didn't really get a chance to see, you know what I'm saying, his work, you know what I'm saying, and how many people it affected and it touched and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we still try to hold him down till this day, his family included, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, just progressing through it. ESG ain't here, you know what I'm saying? That's another, man, like I just was so blessed to work with these brothers, man. ESG, Moyo, Pokey, you know what I'm saying? There's so many stories, man. I could sit up here for 45 minutes. If I tell y'all Pokey freestyle that man verse one time, I'm talking about one time and one time only, I am not lying to you, the whole verse. You know what I'm saying? We was in the shop, we didn't have no AC, the little booth was a closet. So that Pokey come out of there, shirt off, sweating and shit. One time, one take, you know what I'm saying? And Mo did his one take too, you know what I'm saying? So it's just been a blessing, man, to you know, be a part of something so special, man, and so beautiful that it still stands to this day. And I always just wanted to see this right here. This mean a lot to me, man. It's a beautiful thing y'all did, man. Yeah. To see us all being here, you know what I'm saying, from all the cats that came before us, man. My brother over here, Jay, on down, you cannot talk about Houston music. That's why it's so much attention going to that, because I know what it was, how hard it was for me to fight to do what I had to do. I can only imagine what it was before nobody had done it at all. So, you know, man, as long as everybody out here stick together and we know the value of our music scene and know that even though we compete amongst ourselves, we still one family, man, and as long as we fight for this music scene, it's gonna continue forward.
I want to say something, man, because I don't think we as artists really give enough credit to the people that come and find us and help our dreams come true. We don't really give it up to the money men. You know what I'm saying? Somebody at some point got to take their hard-earned money and invest in somebody else's dream. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be here if Russell Washington didn't take his free market money
big time
and invest in me and my brother to give us the life that we got. So for, you know, Dash and Rec and Jay and all the CEOs, man, in here, the people that put their money where their mouth was, man, y'all the ones that really built this culture. And the reason I want to thank y'all is because I'm an artist. I know how this shit goes sometimes, you know what I'm saying? We get fame, we get on TV, we get to New York and LA, people start talking in our ear and start telling us that we could be doing it and we should be doing it bigger and better somewhere else, you know what I'm saying? And that shit is wrong. It's really wrong. And it's so many people that turn their back on the people that put their money where their mouth is, you know what I'm saying? So as an artist, sitting here with somebody in my career, when my label told me I was a sidekick, they told me Pimp C's star, he in jail, we just gonna wait till he get back, you know what I'm saying? And I said, well, somebody want to sign me, put it out. They said, well, who would want to put you out? I say, Jay Prince. They say, I'm gonna have to call Jay, because that meant that Jay knew something that they didn't. Right. And even if they didn't understand it or believe in it, they knew Jay was gonna make it happen. So they said, we'll let you do it, but we're gonna need a little something on the side to make it happen. And we ended up releasing the #1 selling album on Asylum Records to this day. Nobody ever sold more records on Asylum than me and Jay did with that first Trill album. And when Pimp came back home and we had to sit with them folks, that man apologized. He said, I had to apologize. I had no idea, that you had that in you. I said, yeah, but Jay did. You know what I'm saying? So I want to thank Jay for believing in me and believing in Face and Will. And I want to thank Rick for believing in Mo and E and all of them. You know what I'm saying? I want to thank Dash, you know what I'm saying, for believing in Swishahouse and Mike and putting these movements together. You know what I'm saying? I think it's important that we give y'all flowers, because y'all not just CEOs and businessmen and all that. Y'all put the money up, man. Y'all took money out y'all house to help us buy homes. And I just want to, while we just really putting it out here, it's important to give it up to the money men that did one. Thank y'all so much for being on this panel. We really appreciate it. Some of the people here are going to stay. Others are going to leave right now. We thank everybody that's going to have to leave now for your input.
Let me say this real quick, Bon, because I don't want them to think it was that easy where you was concerned. I had to sue Jive Records.
Okay, well, tell it.
Yeah, I had to go to war with them because it wasn't that easy, but they just volunteered to let you go. We had to, go to war, and then eventually.
Then it take money to go to war. See what I'm saying? People believing in you. He wasn't going to spend that money and fight and all that if he didn't think I ain't have it in me. And I brought everything I could to the table to get this man the best album I could. Yeah. And we went gold and we made some good money. And let me say that, man, it's a lot of talk, man. I made good money with Jay Prince. Yeah. I got every dime I earned with Jay Prince. I just want to put that out there. I hear a lot of things out there. When he needed a yes, I gave him a yes. When he needed a no, I gave him a no. I came to him like a man. I dealt with him like a man. He dealt with me like a man. And we made money together. You know what I'm saying? So I want to thank him for that. And I want to thank everybody else that ever put money forward for somebody's dream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got my first big royalty check from Jay Prince too.
Me too. And I had been signed for 8 years before I got with Jay Prince, and hadn't got a royalty check till I signed with that man. That's facts. New York fucked over me. The South kept it 100. Yeah.
Steve, you got one more thing before we close out?
Yeah, before we move on to more today, I'm going to go back a little bit and tell you that the fight to get rap music played in Houston, Texas was incredibly hard. A very hard situation. Our clubs got raided every month, and they'd come in. They wouldn't do it to the white rock and roll clubs. They wouldn't do it to the white country western clubs.
Come on, Steve.
But they would do it to my club. Yeah. And why? Because my clubs were predominantly black. That's why. And they would raid it, and they would come in there down the street. The Vice would come. They have covers on their face, helmets on, and shotguns. And they would come in the club and say, come up to the DJ booth and say, turn the music on, off, and cut the lights on, bright lights. Tell the young ladies with their little skirts on and everything, sit on the floor. 1,500 people sit on the floor. They go through the whole club with their flashlights. Walk out there with 3 joints. Yeah. Let us start the club up again, and they would bang our clubs like that all year long, just because we were playing rap music. Yeah. It got to a point where they found an old ticket of mine that wasn't paid 6 years ago, took me in handcuffs through the dance floor, and got me out to the van, and I'll never forget it. It was a white lieutenant in the Vice, and he had a red mustache. And he said had 2 or 3 people they found with something on them, and they put them in the van. And they go, what do you want to do with him? And they pointed to me. And they said, he's just a N-word like them. Throw him in there. That's the shit we went through just to play rap music consistently in the club.
Yeah.
And then I had to debate with state senator and the chief of police of Houston why I was playing the music. I was destroying the city. Gangster music was destroying the city.
Destroying the city.
And I said, man, you know, I play it because it's real music. They're rapping about what really happens in their neighborhood. That's what they're rapping about. It's real music. Well, it's gangster music to us.
And yeah, just getting ready to say, they don't, what really the most influential thing that everybody in the street was really, I mean, it's the movies. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Rambo. And you know, this is visual that people enjoy going to see. So what do the kids say? I want to be Rambo. I want to be I want to be the Goodfellas. You know what I'm saying? So, but they try not to blame it on rap. They had the advisory. You know, you can't, you remember the advisory? You can't buy the music because you got to be a certain age or your parent got to buy it like it's alcohol. And, you know, they did that. They took me to jail at Palladium. They were pissed off with me because we were promoting Farrakhan coming to town. We put a Malcolm X glass X in the club mirror, put Christmas lights around it. The shit was beautiful. It was a Malcolm X. And boy, them white boys came in there and saw that shit on the wall. Jay, they looked at that shit. Y'all supporting him? Oh yeah, we'll be back.
Man, we came a long way, man. Y'all make some noise for hip-hop here, man.
Hip-hop!
Hey, let me say this before I go one
We play some music from
Hold on, let me say this before I go.
You got one more?
I got one more word.
I'm way too young for this panel right here. All this 89 and Palladium and all that. I don't know why they put my OG card up. I ain't supposed to be They all in 89 and Bud and went to the Palladium. I ain't been to the Palladium, man.
I just want to thank everybody, start with Jay Prince, and every single person that worked at Rap a Lot, taught me my way in the business. Everybody in this room, really, so thank you.
That's the
Yep.
Sir Page. Yo. Mr. Sir Page. The man.
Lester's coming up. You best believe. We would have had him up here by now. He fought a good fight to get here.
Bun, I want to send a shout out to a young man that I took under my wing. Left Houston. I moved back to Louisiana for a little while. I came back to town and hooked up with him. Me and him shared a home together for a while. And this guy was at Boomerang.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boomerang.
Boom, boom, boomerang. And man, you know, he's like a nephew of mine. One of the coldest DJs, you know, that I put a stamp on. And I've just been so proud of him. You know, he does the t-shirts and stuff now. He got Cowboy World. He got so much stuff going on.
DJ Chill.
He been to London. DJ Chill!
Let's go.
My boy.
Chill, you too modest, man. You can take your flowers, brother. You part of this, man. You
part of it, baby. Big time.
You just be very quiet and you very humble about it, brother. Good. So let us give you your flowers, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank y'all so much. We play some music.
Yes.
We're gonna cycle into the next panel. We be here all night, y'all. All right, let's get this panel started. We're getting ready to move into the 2000s. Shout out to everybody that's been on the panels before now. I'll call you up. Thanks to everybody that's been on the panels right now. I know it's not easy trying to tell these stories in this this short little time that we have dedicated, but we appreciate everybody's input. I got me a fresh drink. Donnie, you got a fresh drink? Jazz over there full. He been eating them burgers, Trill burgers. It's nap time now. All right, let's go ahead and get started, my brother.
Let's do it. So we're going to get into these 2000s, man.
Let's do it. I'm excited about the 2000s, you know what I'm saying? That's when I first started getting caught unk and feeling old and shit. So, yeah, I'm excited about this one. Coming to the stage first, legendary DJ, one half of the Hollywood boys in here. Highly respected in his Kappa. In his Kappa family. Ladies and gentlemen, please come to the stage, Mr. DJ Aggravated in the building. He's a budding social media influencer, by the way, so stay tuned. Up next, we would like to bring up the two co-founders of Swishahouse Records. From the music side, esteemed, highly regarded and respected DJ, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Michael 5000 Watts. And on the visionary side, the business angle, like I said, the money man, we always got to give respect to the money man. Please welcome the CEO, G-Dash, to the stage.
And then we're going to bring up two artists, man. Represent Mo City, the Mo City Don, Zero. Zero in the building. Okay, we'll wait on.
He'll be coming up shortly.
And then also we're going to bring up, represent Cloverland, the Leprechaun, the Freestyle King, Lil Flip.
I think Flip is Zero.
They together?
That makes sense. They probably outside smoking. We'll give them a second. We can get started. Aggravated, you come from some of the earliest initiations of iterations, of Rap A Lot Records. You were, there for a lot of the early recordings. You were the original DJ for the Convicts with Big Mike at 3-2. With hip hop moving into the 2000s, what did you see in the culture that you knew was going to work as we move forward, and what were some of the things that you felt like we had to improve on?
Well, first of all, this is great that y'all put this together. I tell him he's a historian as well as Blast and everything.
Thanks.
Shout out to all the DJs that are actually in here, because the DJs that are actually in here that are doing it, that are part of Houston pioneers and just helping Houston move forward. As far as the 2000s, after we got through with the 90s, a lot of things was happening in radio where they were trying to figure it out, right? So everything was working in the 90s and the 2000s, they were figuring out, hey, Houston's got something. So, we would still, me and Blast would still be going to all these mixed show power summits along with G and all them. The hardest thing was trying to get everybody else to understand that Houston we had our shit. We had a lot of shit going on, whether it was, you guys coming before that, helping to push it forward. Then in the 2000s, when you had all these other rappers coming in, your Mike Jones and everybody, now they're hot. Now, telling these New York DJs, they still didn't want to play it. I remember sitting in a bunch of meetings or things with me and Blast, and we're coming in and let them know, hey, the South is coming. We got the 90s, but these other cats, Slim and all of them, they coming. And I just remember, I'm part of the heavy hitters, we'd be on a conference call, and I'm telling them every week, I'm introducing new rappers to them, like, hey, y'all need to check this guy. Y'all need to check this guy. Y'all need to check this guy. We got a bunch of DJs, so all of them wouldn't really own it, but a few would be on it. But it was really hard to introduce them to the newer part of Houston 2000 rap, because they was used to, the 90s, they was used to Ghetto Boys. But moving forward, when you saw having your Slim Thugs and everybody else that was coming along, they were still kind of leery, but we were still pushing it forward, especially me, and we were still pushing it forward. Like, hey guys, this works. This works not just in the South, because the South was playing it, but no one else was playing it. But we were trying to push it forward every chance we got, and it was hard because they were still looking at us like whatever. But every chance we get, we would try to push it forward.
And I want to say, anytime we would go out of town and DJ places, we would pretty much just bring a Houston crate.
Yeah.
We were like, y'all already got the New York stuff. Y'all don't know about this, you know, or even South stuff. Master P, we was trying to do the whole thing. So they bring us out to Howard Homecoming, baby, it's South Side time.
Yeah.
We in Cancun DJing, it's Tops Drop time. You know, that's what we would do everywhere we would go. We always make sure we brought Texas with us.
It's so crazy when we were in Cancun and we got our name put up on the thing, right? And people were walking up and they're like, oh, we know them. They thinking we finna come in and play. We coming in there playing anything from Houston or the South. And especially if it was in the South and Houston, we playing it. We playing it. We was trying to push the needle forward to show them that, hey, we here and we doing something.
Now, at this time, you know, Houston scene is starting to evolve. DJ Screw Sound set us out into the country, and then, you know, different artists. Rec Shop is releasing artists. Some different artists from Screwed Up Click are coming out. When did you guys see that it was time for y'all to take a chance on getting into this mix and really taking things from a mixtape angle to like actually releasing full-length albums and really building up Swishahouse as a label?
All right, check this out. First of all, before I answer that question, right, it's a lot of confusion going on around here, right? I started Swishahouse in '96, right? I started making mixtapes in '96. Swishahouse is a company that I own the company and I own the brand. Now, we started making albums in the 2000s, right? The Day Hell Broke Loose 1, that was the first Swishahouse commercial record. I put that record out. That was on the Swishahouse. Now, everything after that, me and Dash teamed up and made Swishablast. Now, we're partners in Swishablast. We're co-owners in Swishablast. You know, that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand and don't know, you know? So a lot of these albums that you hear out there, the Mike Jones and the Paul Walls and the Big Tykes and all these big albums that went platinum, those are Swishablast albums. So it started off with the Swishahouse and the mixtapes. That's what I created and I brought to the table around here. And Swishablast is the company that me and him were partners on that made all these beautiful multi-platinum albums here for H-Town.
I love it. And
I just want to get that clear because I know a lot of people don't know exactly what our relationship is and how we working on it, but I wanted everybody to understand that and know.
And see, that's what this event is about. This is about making sure that the true history of our culture is told by us and not other people. You know what I'm saying? Other people can control the media, but they can't control the narrative if we're the ones that tell the story. You know what I'm saying? If we tell the story enough, they can't manipulate the story. So I appreciate you for that clarity. When did y'all decide, okay, we're gonna take this from these mixtapes to these albums? When did y'all decide, okay, we're going to have to step this game up, we got to do this different?
Well, basically, the mixtapes were really blowing out of the frame. We was actually selling mixtapes all over the United States, right? You know, and the mixtapes got so popular and the artists got so hot that we had to make an album. So I put out the Day Hell Broke Loose 1. That album did great numbers, and we ended up getting a deal. So Jay Prince jumped in, right?
He didn't meet you in the parking lot, did he?
No, he didn't meet us in the parking lot, right?
Because he met everybody else in the parking lot.
No. I met him at the compound.
Okay.
It was advanced. It's the 2000s, so, you know, it wasn't the 90s when all y'all met him and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Watch, you're moving a little too fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
We dropped Archie Lee, Big Tiger, Day Hill Broke Loose 2, first round draft picks, and all Freestyles 5 as commercial releases before we even got the deal.
But that's as an independent label.
So we
solely.
going straight good independently. Yeah.
Major without a major deal.
Yeah, that was our slogan at the time.
Y'all dropped CDs. It was the transition from tapes to CDs.
Yeah, that's correct.
Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all something that a lot of people don't know, right? I was the first one to drop a bootleg mix, slowed down and chopped CD.
Like, and to play on the CD.
Yeah. So in like 98 and stuff like that, we was making underground CDs instead of tapes.
So were y'all burning CDs, or were y'all getting them manufactured?
Yeah, no, we're burning them. We was cooking them up, man, you know what I mean?
But you said bootleg, I just want to be clear.
Yeah, I don't want to be honest with you, because a lot of people didn't know that, because like, Screw went commercial when he did the 3 in the morning, but before that, we was doing underground mix CDs. We switched it from the slow down game from cassettes, and we brought it up into the CD era. And we started doing that like in 98.
So when 2000 comes and y'all get the deal, y'all realize y'all got this major platform. How do y'all decide how to separate Swishahouse from everybody else? Not necessarily in Houston, because it's obvious y'all are a Houston record company. But what do y'all think? Like, what do we need to do for this company to make sure we set ourselves apart from everybody else that's doing this right now?
Well, the deal actually came in 2004, at the end of 2004, because we had an album called Day Hell Broke Loose 2 that had the single Still Tipping on it. We shot the video to it, because like I said, our slogan was major without a major deal, so we was trying to do everything that the majors was doing, but doing it on an independent platform. We never wanted a deal. But when we did get the deal, we decided to keep Still Tipping because that song had momentum already. And down here in Texas, they really didn't even want to play it anymore. So we had to do a remix which had Keke and Pokey on it. Yeah, so that kind of catapulted us to the next level.
And I love the fact that, because at the time, there was division in the city, you know what I'm saying, between the South Side and the North Side. Y'all made a concerted effort to try to bridge that gap, you know what I'm saying? Why did you feel y'all needed to do that?
I'll answer that. I'm hate blind. I don't pay attention to nothing but the culture. I only care about us. I don't give a damn what nobody say. I don't give a fuck about how nobody feel. My thing is this: we're stronger if we're connected. So if I gotta push the button to show people this around here, I feel like that is more important than me having feelings about a certain side of town or anything like that, because I feel like good music is good music, and especially if it's here from Houston and it represents us, I feel like it should be played.
And I think the Plex was more about the people that was around the artists. It wasn't necessarily the artists, because we worked with a lot of Southside artists, like when we was independent, while the beef was going on.
Right.
I remember paying Flip to get on the Big Tiger album. So
I don't even know why that was even a beef. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I think it was more street.
It's always people that's in the middle of these things, right? Typically when the heads can talk, you know what I'm saying, things tend to go away, but it's always the people underneath that keep the bullshit up, typically. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Now at this time with the Swishahouse, right? The first generation of Swishahouse people have already made their names through the tapes. They just start releasing full-length albums, you know what I'm saying? Flip, you came up under the Botany Boys, which I think is a very underrated contributor to Houston hip-hop.
Right. They don't get their props, yes.
Shout out to my boys C-Note and Will and Red. You came up as a Botany BG at the time. Being that second generation of Screwed Up Click, and you seeing the Screwed Up Click, Pat got album, Hawk, everybody got music, Swishahouse is releasing music, Swisher Blast is selling millions of records. As a second generation, what were you looking at thinking like, man, I know we here, but I think we can start taking this shit there?
Well, I got family on the North Side, so I used to always be on the North Side, Fifth Ward, Studewood, so when the North Side and the South Side beef was going on, it ain't never affect me. Because I was over there in Rosewood with Lil Ron and the Burberry Jag, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was always on the North Side, so I never got caught up in the North Side, South Side beef, you know what I'm saying? And I did go over there and do it. My biggest freestyle, even though I'm in a Screwed Up Clip, my biggest freestyle is I-45, We Blow Indo with Ron C on the Swishahouse tape. So I used to be at Ron C house, me and Big Shasta. I'm on Big Tiger album. I'm on a few Swishahouse albums, you know, so I just thought, I felt like all the people that came before me, I had to motherfucking pass, carry the torch that they passed me, you know what I'm saying? And, seeing what Jay Prince did on the North Side, turned the car lot to, you know what I mean? Because my dad sold cars too. So my dad taught me a lot of shit when it come to marketing. And when I was doing double albums, and I be at concerts and everybody selling their mixtapes, I'm giving mine away. They're like, man, you should be selling your shit. I'm like, nah, I'm finna get this shit away. And then when I come back, they go know this shit. So while everybody was, you know, they'll probably sell 20 tapes, I'm giving away 200, 300. I'm going to all the towns that everybody told me to skip, because a lot of times people tell you to skip the towns that don't have BDS radio stations.
Right.
Man, I'm going to the college stations, I'm going to the country towns, I'm taking pictures. So everything everybody didn't want to do, I'm Hollywood, I'm not Hollywood. So I just feel like the people that came before me, what I learned from Screw, him selling the mixtapes, me going to car shows with him, seeing them make that money, you know, I'm a sponge, so I just soaked up the game. And coming after the Body Boys, you know, they brought a damn helicopter to Cloverland Park. They had records with Cash Money before people had records with Cash Money. You know what I mean? If you go back to Cash Money, you'll see before they started hanging with C-Note and stuff, they only had golds in their mouth. When they see we had diamonds in our mouth, they changed their shit. So, you know, Cloverland, we real trendsetters, and I just always felt like I got to make the people proud who came before me.
You know, Screw passed away, you know, in late 2000. But when you talk about Screwed Up Click, you know, we had Keke on. He was, you know, coming up in the 90s. After Screw passed, it was like, you know, you and Zero, y'all both really came up. Like, we both heard y'all for the first time, like, 98, 99. You know what I mean?
Diamonds in Your Face, Buy the Car, Buy the House, and the Screw tape.
Look at What You Did to Me,
Look What You
Rise,
Did to Me.
all that, you know what I'm saying?
Correct.
But, Ro, can you talk about, because, you know, Zero vs. the World, I feel like that was like more of a serious breakout solo album where everybody knew. If you didn't know Zero before, you knew exactly who Zero was when Zero vs. the World came out. And, you know, Screw was supposed to do a version of that as well, right? But he passed away. Can you talk a little bit about that, and then also how you just took the game to another level after that, man?
Yeah, shit, my bad. Okay. Drunk. Anyway,
swim well.
My bad, Bun. My bad. Now, yeah, man. Zero vs. the World. When I got the CD from Den Den, you know, I got it and I was like, damn, this nigga from the hood, which is the Too Many Niggas song. Screw's like, yeah, man, I need the vinyl for this. So I can put it on the dub. You know, I'm fresh in the Screwed Up Click. I think it was like me and Flip, and that was it. So I'm like, I'm the new nigga. So I'm like, shit, I gotta let boys know I can do something. So I got a call. Den called me. He was like, hey man, 2 things. Your vinyl came in, 5 songs on it. You know, the song with Hawk. And then the Too Many Niggas, he was like, yeah, so your vinyl came in, but also they just found Screw dead too. So the day the vinyl came in, it was the day Screw left. That's why you ain't never got a chopped up Too Many Niggas featuring Big Mo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that shit sucked. And honestly, I don't even remember your other question. What was the other question?
No, I was gonna say, what was it about? Because you know, Screw was a driving factor for a lot of people. You know, once he touched your record, a lot of times you were out of here. But he passed away, you know, in the middle of you having your moment.
Y'all, man, whoever in the back with Deuce.
Hey man, no more drinks for Ro, man. No more drinks for the crooked, man.
Hell, I need another one of these motherfuckers though. But what happened though? Shit.
Nah, I was saying, man, what was it about? You know, did that have anything in you to put a battery in your back to be like, man, you know, Screw was a guy who was really gonna help me out in this thing, even though you had your thing going on. But like you said, you just took it to that next level. Did you ever, you know, feed off of that? Like, man, you know what I'm saying? It's on me now, and I got to make this thing happen. So it was like you just kept mashing Zero vs. the World, King of the Ghetto, Zero. It was like we just got all these albums, and that's when you really, you know, made your name.
I ain't want to get no job. I ain't even work for nobody. My attitude too bad. I did some Little Caesar shit for a little while. You know, pan, meetza, and shit. Meetza. I worked at Video Square. That shit was gay in the motherfucker too. So, shit, really, the reason I decided to do music full time was because of D-Reck. Like I was, you know, no disrespect to Den or nobody, straight profit, but I mean, you know, I was getting my rent paid. But Reck was like, hey, I want you to come over here and help us write some songs. And Reck gave me some real money. I was like,
shout out to Reck.
Shout out to the money man. For real, like
He gave me some, like the first zeros I seen. And I was like, besides me in the mirror, it was the first zero. And I was like, you finna give me this for every song I write?
Yeah. And this is Big Mo's album, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That nigga Big Mo was like, slow down. I'm like, you don't understand what this nigga paying me. Yeah. I'm not finna slow down. I live in the efficiency right now. And this shit ain't even efficient, so I'm finna keep doing this shit. So that's why, I'm being honest, that's why I did that shit, because, the efficiency turned into a highs and then a two-stir and then on, but that's why I did that shit, because I ain't want to work for nobody. I'm anti-social, but I got the most social-ass job, so it's fucked up. So, but I was kind of good at that shit. So, I kept doing the shit, and I knew, like, if I lacked off of it, I give somebody else to come, a chance to come in and bump me off my pedestal. So I just kept slapping y'all upside the head with music every time I felt like it.
You did.
Now, Flip, you were one of the first of your generation to have a platinum album, to do national tours, and have this major exposure in your earliest days of your career. Leaving Houston and having to really go out in the world and make your bones at a time where you were probably one of the few Houston artists that was being included in a lot of these national conversations, concerts, and things like that. What was it like representing Houston at that time, where you were probably one of the fewer people, and then of course Mike and Paul and Cam, everybody kind of came around that same time, but you were one of the first ones to really have that big record outside of that kind of system, because you didn't necessarily come up under Swishahouse, or you didn't come up under the Screwed Up Click. You kind of made your own way. What was it like for you as a young independent artist going out there and making it, man?
I just felt like me having the blueprint, like what Jay Prince did, seeing what he did with his company, and going to the car shows and seeing how they deep and got the Rolls Royces and all that. My family Black Panthers and boxers and sports. So I just looked at it like, okay, he's spending his own money. Faye's doing videos with Scarface. I used to be at Club Oasis, watching going to the Face Mob concerts. I went to Fournier Middle School with Tulo, So we was in detention together, chopping it up. So, free Tulo, by the way. But like, me seeing Tulo make it, I was a fan of Crisscross and all that, but they from Atlanta. So I'm going to Fournier Middle School, and I'm at school with Tulo. So seeing what he was doing, it motivated me. I'm like, all right, so let me soak up the game like a sponge. Let me apply what I learned from my dad selling cars and being able to give away music. So one of the main reasons why I dropped double albums, I found out that, hey, if you drop a double album, all you got to sell is 250 to go gold. So, 8Ball, when he dropped his first solo album, it was a triple album. Lost was a triple album. Yeah. So he ain't had to sell that many to go platinum, So my mind frame was like, all right, let me apply the hustle game. Let me be a people's person. Let me go and fuck with the people, because I come from a family of musicians. So a lot of people, they wonder how I made it. My grandmother, she played the piano for the choir. So if you're born in my family, you sing it in the choir. So I played the drums, I played the piano. So stage shy, stage fright, that shit I don't know what that is. So I was already doing music for God. So once I found out I could make money by doing rap battles and traveling, I'm like, all right, let me go cover as much ground. I might not get what I want for a show, but hey, I'd rather cover much ground as I can. So my motto was like, all right, let me go to the East Coast. So before I signed my deal, I was already doing shows in New York. I was already linking up with people like 50 Cent and Killer Cam, because my whole mind frame was like, if I'm gonna take over somebody's city, I need to go collaborate with who's running the city. So you running this city, I'm finna come rap next to you and show them I can hold my own, and I ain't give a damn. I'ma represent Texas no matter where I'm at. I'ma still shout out DJ Screw. I'ma be Hollywood. I ain't finna sell my soul. I ain't finna do no weird shit to make it, because I don't love money. Yeah, I'm used to the attention. You go back to my yearbooks, fly shoes, women, you know what I'm saying? So when I made it in the rap game, that's why I'm so laid back, because it sent me out on me. Church.
There you go.
There it is.
Now, Swisha Blast at this time, it seems like everything y'all drop is either going gold or platinum. Like, y'all making a lot of noise, and it's minor moving as a major is actually starting to work for y'all as a company. What do y'all attribute to being able to take such advantage of the industry at that time? Like, y'all were obviously making good music, but everybody that makes good music doesn't go gold or platinum. You know what I'm saying? What was it that you guys had in your formula to make sure that your artists could go as far as y'all wanted them to go at that time?
God. Amen. Won't he do it?
There we go.
And also the ability to keep hustling and grinding like you're independent, even though you're on a major. Don't wait on them to do anything for you. Take the initiative and go ahead and do everything yourself, because they'll take their time on you. They'll try to see if you're gonna move the needle for yourself before they just jump on. And that's a lot of times that's what the majors like to do. They like to jump on once they get to rolling.
Now, we got a lot of independent artists in here who may one day be looking to make that same kind of transition from an independent to a major label deal. What are some things that they need to go when they go into negotiation? Like, what do they need to know when they're dealing with these people, and what do they need to avoid when they're dealing with these people?
Honestly, I tell them to stay independent.
And why do you think that's a better option?
Because you control your own destiny. You don't have to wait for them to tell you when to drop, what to drop. Sometimes they shelve you.
Yep. I mean, before you even negotiate with anybody, first of all, you need to know what your worth is. Because if you don't know what your worth is, you can't negotiate anything.
I hope y'all are listening to this. I see a lot of young up-and-coming artists in there. I hope y'all
let me tell you something real fast. Because in the 2000s now, once these guys came along and pushed us way, further ahead and made us sound really good, as far as when they were talking about getting songs on the radio, it was easier for them to get songs in airplay, right? Because for the most part, like when we were with Rap-A-Lot and all that, when Rap-A-Lot was dropping all that stuff, most of the stuff we used to have to only play during mix show, right? So we could only play it in mix show. So I remember getting a whole bunch of wax from them, and we could only play those songs during the mix show, right? So that's the only time those people would get played, like Willie and Blaster. We would sit, we didn't even talk to, like when I started in 92 and Ron Atkin was my program director, I spoke to him every day, but he wouldn't even talk to me really, right? So then the next PD came along, and then it was like, all right, me and Blaster would come out of the program meeting or whatever, and they're not even talking about what we playing. Me and him would just look at each other and go, hey, what you playing? Hey, I'm gonna play this. Hey, did Chief don't give you that stuff? Yeah, cool, I'm gonna play that, I'm gonna play this, and we gonna play it. They didn't even check for us, but we could only play it on the weekends. Now when this moved forward, now it's open, right? So now they're on the radio, they're talking to the mix show. Mix show is not just a mix show just for the underground, whatever. They're getting pushed forward. Everybody's getting played, and a lot more Houston stuff is getting played because they were pushing for us to play other stuff, but we were too busy trying to play our Houston stuff too, and a lot of underground stuff. And I tell you, me and Blaster and JQ and G, we try to push the limit on that. Just play a lot of stuff that wasn't even like an album cut. Like I remember playing Scarface album cut and just editing it live on the air, but yeah, get in trouble for that. But once they pushed the envelope forward, it was easier. It was open. You could go talk. I could go talk to a program director like, hey, the streets are talking about such and such, such and such. What's up with it? Now, they might not hear me right then. I'm like, I bet, cool. Come back 2 weeks later. Hey, the streets are talking about Flip, this song right here. Don't play that. This the song. No. All right, cool. Labels are telling y'all to play that song. This the song, though. This could be the Houston song. They can play that other stuff, but this could be the Houston song. So these guys pushed it forward to make it easier to play on the radio. It was much harder in the 90s, so we had to play the mix show only.
Now, I want to call an audible, Donnie, and the reason I want to do that is because in this era of hip-hop, we had not only a transition from the artistry, but also from the presentation. A big part of that was the artwork. In the 2000s, the artwork got very flamboyant. It caught everybody's eye. And a big part of that was one of the people that's in the audience right now. Mike, would you mind coming up here?
Mike Frost.
For a minute?
Mike Frost.
You want me like on the panel?
Yes,
Yeah, man,
absolutely,
let's see,
absolutely. Mike Frost, for many of you, is the designer behind many of the memorable H-Town and hip-hop in general album covers. He's responsible basically for the transition in just a basic portrait shot of an artist for an album cover into having many more details that spoke to the personality of the artist, the neighborhood they came from, the image that the label wanted to have. Mike, do you remember when you were first approached about designing a rap album cover?
Man, so I actually started in punk rock, and then I used to go to the rave parties, right? And I was into computers, like my parents got me a computer, like, and I grew up Gulf Bank 45, so they but the first time I was approached was by my friend Orbit, who does videos and stuff now.
Orbit did it.
So we went to high school together, and he was, I had a t-shirt press in my garage, and he would come up and he's like, man, Photoshop, I want to make shirts. So we were designing and selling t-shirts at the high school football games. But later on,
was this for Orbit's group? Was this Squeaky Nonsense? Or?
About 3 months later, Orbit came and was like, he's in a group Kamikaze. He's like, hey, do my cover. But I'm trying to make a comic book. I'm designing all other graphic stuff. I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's do it. So yeah, I made that cover, and then Russell Big Time Washington came to me from that. Like I never even marketed. I didn't even understand what marketing was at that point. But Russell came to me, and people just started coming to me, and I did this cover for Kick Door Bandits on the north side, some Hispanic guys, and G-Dash saw that, and then Orbit broke down the whole, he's like, north side, this is all that's going on, which was a whole new world to me. I was like, really? This is going on in the city? This is crazy. So, I just wanted to do art for music, and kind of like Scarface said, I wanted to be the best at whatever I did, but I kind of just followed my heart. But off, I was off Westheimer, this little office on the curve, and G-Dash came up to me, and he brought the Archie Lee album, and like I said, I followed what my heart wanted to do. I wanted to be in music. I was just like everybody else in the city. I was like a kid from modest means that had big dreams. Didn't know how I was gonna make it. I couldn't go anywhere else. And that's one thing I love about Houston rap, and I love about it is we had to create the world we want here. We had to create something for ourselves. And I've learned even so much about my own history from everybody that came before me just this fucking night that I didn't even know. But one thing I know is we all got the same attitude. We're gonna make it. We're gonna kick the door in. We're gonna go after our dreams. But yeah, no, G-Dash came to me at the office with the Archie Lee project.
Do you know at this point how many different artists you have designed for in hip hop?
I've done over 1,000 covers, mixtape, and I don't know. I run around tonight one of my bucket list things was UGK. And the first time I met you, I was drunk as fuck at some club, but...
Not zero drunk, but still drunk.
No, I was way more fucked up than zero. But the UGK album was actually the first rap album from our region that actually got me back into, just got me into rap, period. Because I was went for NWA, all heavy metal, but it was a UGK Riding Dirty album so that's always been my bucket list.
Man, that's dope. I can't imagine what a UGK cover by you would have looked like.
That'd be crazy.
That would have been dope. Zero, let me pull you out of this drunken stupor for a minute.
He got his bottle of water with him. He might be a little bit better shape.
So one thing that we have in common is that I too am not naturally a people person. And I ended up, like you, picking the worst job in the world to have when you're not that type of person. And for many years, I was able to kind of float under the radar because Pimp was the more outgoing, flamboyant person. But then as we started to become more and more famous, the group itself became famous and bigger than anything we could have ever thought we would have become. At this point, I am hard-pressed to pick another record as the anthem of Houston over Mo City Dawn. I would argue that it's the easiest way to tell if a motherfucker from out of town. You know what I'm saying? If you in a group of people, in a room full of people, and you say slow, loud, and banging, all in my truck, if you don't say that shit, I got you. I know you from out of town. You them folks. You them people. You know what I'm saying? For somebody that was so introverted and so against the idea of being that person, when did you realize you was that nigga in Houston? And that there was nothing you could do about it. You couldn't hide from it. You couldn't, stay in the background no more. You was that nigga in Houston. When did you realize that, and how did you deal with it?
Yeah. I ain't never realized it. I mean, I heard you say some shit on the radio one day about, man, I don't know what it was. It wasn't a rodeo yet. It was some other car show or some shit, and you was like, I ain't gonna even try to do your voice, but I heard it. It was 97. You was like, yeah, man, the king, he just don't know. You got. I was like, man, Bun showing love, but I was like, I hate that fucking song. I don't like that song at all. Like,
why not? Because you have to do it so much?
Nah, because, well, first of all, that whole too long pause. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's too long pause.
And there's no hook. There's nowhere to pause. So once we start, Mo City Dawn, we going all the way to my motherfucking mule. We got to go all the way to the end of the song.
Yeah. So that's first, and then like it ain't talking about it's jamming, but it ain't talking about shit. I thought it was gonna be another song on the album. I was on that, that police brutality shit, and I was like, I was high as fuck. I was leaning. I think I might have been on some sandbars.
I'm starting to sense a pattern, my nigga.
Yeah, I was definitely, my cheese hadn't slid off my omelet. Like, I was fucked up. Yeah. And if you listen to the song, you know I was fucked up.
Queen, you got my phone. Can you make a note with that cheese slid out of my omelet? I want to tell that to a nigga one day.
Hey, bro, I want to say something about this record, because I remember when International Red brought the record to the Hollywood Boys show on the box. We was doing Monday through Friday, 10 to 1 every night. And he brings it, it's like a burned CD, and it say Mo City Don. I say, first of all, I'm the Mo City Don.
Because you're from Mo City.
I'm from Mo City. What is this?
Who that is?
we got to do some Mo City picture later. I'm from Ridgemont, man.
Ridgemont?
Yes, sir.
You be repping that.
Ridge-Rod Lane, baby.
You be repping that.
That was a long time ago. But when me and Aggravated listened to that record, I was like, man, this shit is incredible. And we played it that night, and that's not something that ever really happens on the radio. You don't just bring a record and play it immediately. It's at night, the office is closed, we not able to reach, we not finna call the program director. But that's how hot that record was. I was like, we gotta play this tonight. While Red is in here, I was like, we playing this before he leaves, we are playing this record. And I was like, I need the instrumental, I need the acapella, we went through the whole thing with it. So I just had to speak on that. That was such a huge, and still a huge record. But it was instant hit, and that is not something that happens very often at all in music for a DJ. That was an instant hit.
We want to thank our panelists up on the stage today. That we literally have 15 minutes left in the venue. So I want to thank our panelists from 2000.
Thank you.
Thank you, bud.
No, thank y'all so much for your contributions to this culture. We believe. We're not going to play a musical. Well, you can play a couple of songs, but I need everybody to stay in their seats because we're going to switch this panel out right now and go straight into the last panel.
We're going into the 2010s and
2010 and beyond. So let's call up our panelists.
L.E. Dollar, DJ Mr. Rogers, G&B Productions. We got G-Luck in here.
Lester Pace to the building.
Lester Pace, DJ Hollygrove is going to sit in for OG Ron C.
And L.E. Dollar Sign.
Two, three. It's me, Lil Flip. I just got the D. I know everybody trying to peep out my skills. Look next door, peep out my wheels. Look in my mouth, peep out my bread,
bitch, I've been having motion. 5 stars, I'm toasted. I've been on some 3 or 4 shit. I like my
BeatKing, get your ass up here. We ain't got all day. Get your ass up here.
Get loud, gotta take it easy.
I'll stay there with your girlfriend.
Got that no girl
Get your little front ass off the stage.
Cake ass,
Get your cake ass off my stage, nigga.
You got that?
All right, unfortunately, because we've run a little bit long, I try not to cut people off, and because of that, we get to this last panel, and it's got to move really fast. I want to let Lester Pace speak. Lester Pace Lester was originally meant to be on the first panel because Lester, his career in Houston started in the early 80s. Lester went to high school with my brothers at Smiley, so I've known about Lester for the majority of my life. But the reason why Lester, who started in the 80s, can still be here in this conversation in the 2010s is because you have been active in this culture. I mean, when I say active, not just a participant, like getting a check, like being paid to be a part of this culture for, what are we going on, for almost 40 years now, right? Yeah. Well, 35 at least, right, at this point.
Yeah, you can say that. I just heard somebody say he old. Yeah, there you go. See, you call me OG, but when you see me still doing this, OG, that's me. The OHH, the GEE, okay? That's me in the business. So my whole thing being in this business is that nobody's never gonna tell me when it's time to get out. I set my own pace. That's my whole. I set my own pace. I move how I move, and then I watch how the industry moves. And the way to be able to be in this business a long time is to see how the industry moves. Don't say I'm not going to change. I change, and then you set your system up where you can continue to make money in this business. And I think when the new school come in, oh man, I'm not going to work that record independently. I'm not going to do those things. So that's how I've been able to stay successful and stay in this business as long as I have.
Amazing, amazing. Who are you currently working with right now, just so they know the kind of...
I'm with Rock Nation right now. I'm Senior Vice President of the Rock Nation radio department. I started my career at KTSU Kids Jam, and that was the time where they told us you couldn't play hip-hop on the radio. I used to get on the bus on Saturday mornings after leaving McDonald's, working from 5 to 10 with records on my shoulder, go to KTSU Kids Jam, fight with the program director, Pam Collins, me and Jazzy Red, to play hip-hop on the radio. So that's where that opportunity came. And the first groups we were able to play was UGK, Scarface, and Rap A Lot. So all of those things came from that side. And, even some people don't even realize the first record that was screwed on the radio, we didn't call it Screw. Me and Marcus Love was playing a record called Fresh is the Word. Fresh is the Word. You're supposed to be played at 45, but we played it at 33, and it slowed down on the radio. So we had to try to speed it up. And next week, all the people would call and say, can you play Fresh is the Word, slow down? And so that's where that concept kind of came in at. And if anybody ever got old turntables, you do that, you'll understand how that was done. Yep.
Amazing, amazing. Now, a lot of the artists that we have up here are producers, even though some of them produce and rap for themselves. So I want to talk to BeatKing about that. You started primarily as a producer, but you decided to incorporate your voice into your music. Where did that decision come from?
That's actually backwards, Bun. I was a rap nigga first. I started making beats because the hoes cost too much. You know what I'm saying?
And I had it backwards. So you and Les are both the same kind of way.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I probably like everybody else in here was broke. You know what I'm saying? At a certain point in time in our life. You know what I'm saying? And I always wanted to just cut out the middleman. everybody was looking at East Bay magazines and Jordans, and I was looking at Guitar Center magazines. And remember Mars Electronics? A lot of older people, I was looking at Mars magazines, looking at equipment, and you know, I wanted to buy my own studio at 16, and you know what I'm saying, and record myself, and I learned how to mix and master all my own stuff and all that, and the beats and all that. You know, it just came into play because I just didn't want to pay nobody else. You know what I'm saying? So
when did you realize your beats were not just good for you, but for other people?
Man, honestly, it's. I say this, man. Like I say, man. Not to get off topic, I didn't even know Houston had fucking hip hop in the '80s. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like the shit I learned today. It's like the shit, like the influence. I don't think that generation before this generation know how much pressure we were under. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really the internet generation. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't pass out CDs like that. You know what I'm saying? We had to get it. Now, I mean, I'm on TikTok right now dancing around my house and shit trying to get a song popping. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
You know, so back then when I started making beats, it was to make sure I was competing with the Mr. Lees and you know what I'm saying, every time I come on the radio I'm hearing, you know what I'm saying, Lil Flip, you know what I'm saying, or I'm hearing Zero and all. I'm trying to make sure I'm competing. You know what I'm saying? So I knew once my beats, I got enough money, finally, I was stealing from the movie theater where I worked at. I got enough money to get the equipment I needed to compete. That's when I knew my beats were gonna be good for everybody else.
Dope. Now your situation is a little different because you're sitting here with Mr. Rogers. You guys have been collaborators several times. So you had somebody at your disposal who actually was an incredible producer in his own right. Why would you start making beats? Like, I had Pimp. I ain't give a fuck about making no beats. I tried to make 2 in the first year. I was like, nope, that's him. I'm off that. But you proceeded to go down that road. Why did you decide to start producing for yourself?
Man, really, Rogers gave me that push because he would always tell me when we was picking beats that I picked the best beats. So, you know, when he would always say that I picked the best beats, I was like, fuck it, let me, you know, I would take the shit that I like to listen to. You know, we tight. You know, I'm into a plethora of different types of rap and different shit from different genres and different areas. So it's like, fuck it, I could do it too. And he gave me that push to feel like I could do it too. So it's just learning that workflow and learning how to use the equipment. That was the shit that was always intimidating to me. I ain't no computer ass nigga. He bought me my first MacBook. So I was just like, I was intimidated. I'm like, I don't know how to do all this shit. I look at Pro Tools and my head would just fucking explode. I don't know what it is. So I mean, yeah, he put me in the game, really.
Before we go any further, is somebody here driving a white Tesla? Because you got Willie D blocked in, and that's not going to end well. So if anybody in here is driving a white Tesla and want to continue to drive a white Tesla, I would suggest you go out there and unblock Willie D's G-Wagon.
I'm not unblock him, that's me.
Oh, okay, thank you. Flip ain't in the Rolls Royce tonight. That's new.
That's different.
Gav, you have not only produced for hip-hop artists, you've also produced R&B records. And it's specifically working with your sister, LaToya Luckett. When did you realize that your level of production could work in any space? Like not only hip hop, but R&B, anything you desired to produce, it would actually work?
I'm gonna say when they kept requesting it. And when we didn't really believe in ourselves as producers, and we would go to LA and be around these big producers, and we would come home and people would request it. I think it's more so it's when we was like, oh, well, we kind of got to do it, and we found a way to get good at it, I'd say, more so.
Can we talk a little bit about the blog era? Because, I mean, when we talk about the blog era, as far as Houston and, you know, artists in Houston, I feel like Les and Rogers, when y'all came out, you know what I'm saying, with the Settle for Less and all that, y'all really capitalized on that and, you know, let it go as far as it can go, as far as building relationships outside the city, building brands outside the city, expanding beyond music and, you know, getting into clothing and all these different things, man. So just talk about how the blog era, you know, you talk about 2010, that was really the dawn of that whole thing, man. So talk about how that kind of just helped catapult you, you know?
I mean, shit, it was just like, I remember how much money I had to hustle up and spend just to hand out free fucking mixtapes and buy CD burners and, you know, it just shit cost some bread, right? So when I got with Rogers, that was the first time that I ever put out a project online. Like I said, I wasn't no computer ass nigga. I ain't know nothing about that.
And I remember like him sending me it was like a screenshot or some shit like that. There was a media fire or some shit like that. And I seen how many people clicked the link and listened to it, downloaded the tape the first day. And I'm like, nigga, that used to cost me a whole shitload. Excuse my language, I'm a country and shit. But it cost me a shitload of money to move that many units. And it would take me a lot of time to cover that much ground. And he did that shit in a day. Right. So I was like, oh, okay, bet. Went right back to the studio, made another tape. Went right back to the studio, made another tape. We built the blog relationships. And, oh, this blog fuck with me, that led to another blog. And, oh, Big Crit mess with me now such and such mess with me now. And then Currency, and then, oh, you're on tour. And then, like the shit just kept moving. So it was just a natural progression of, oh, this is a different way to hustle. Okay, bet I'm a hustler. I remember niggas was hating. Niggas were like, oh, the internet ass, man, whatever. But I was like, shit, we just trying to, change with the game, man. We tried to stay on top of it.
I saw it expand our reach. We can go press up 1,000 CDs and hand them out hand to hand, but we can only, cover so much ground. So being on Media Fire, putting it on the internet, early days of that Piff and all that, that allow us to touch an audience, a demographic that we couldn't reach, with our means at that time, not being a label with a real machine or anything like that. So we can just press. I know how I was getting music. I was getting music through blogs and forums, from Boxed In to, early chameleonaire.com forum days and stuff like that. So I just kind of like adopted that blueprint and knew how I was downloading music. And I was like, okay, I want to do the same thing when we put that out. And I was in that transition era from being with Slim and Boss Hogg and putting out the tapes, and then doing my college tapes and seeing, where that hard money was coming from, but also seeing that, we were putting a cap on ourselves with the new generation urging in, and they were not buying CDs like that, and they were strictly on the net. So it was like mandatory way to feed them, I would say, Hollygrove too with the blog era. The Chop Stars really re-emerged in the blog era as far as like even today still seeing the slow down sound, and you seeing the official collaborations with like the Metro Boomins and all that. Talk about how y'all were able to use the blog era and like continue to screw sound or slow down sound.
First of all, OG Ron C was here. He got sick, so that's why he's not here. I'm in his place. I'm DJ Hollygrove, Vice President of the Chop Stars. You heard me, from New Orleans. But I've been with Ron C since 2009. So it was a transition, just like you said, just like Roger said. I was Mr. Wired Up DJ back when he was just rapping before he was DJing. And we used to literally, like he said, take CDs and we'll go to Corpus and, sell them or give them out, whatever. But once nigga put us on them blogs, it was over. You heard me? You heard that new was one of the first blogs that just really just started getting on. And then B-Hobbs had his. And it just, you saw all these different blogs coming up. You know what I'm saying? People from all over the place start posting. My boy B. Caldwell, you know what I'm saying, had his blogs, and he started writing for a lot of more people. So that's how a lot of the Houston sound got out. You hear me? Because you had some of the people that was really on the ground, you know what I'm saying? It was really around everybody, really knew Rogers, really knew OG, really knew BeatKing, and saw what these great, producers, rappers, and DJs was doing and put it on the internet. I remember the first, like I said, from New Orleans, chopping and screwing music, that's unheard of because we bounce, we fast paced. The first slowed down or chopped up tape I dropped was called Sweet Dickin', and it was like it was like fuck action, you hear me? But that one tape got 60,000 downloads in 24 hours. So just like what Roger said, you seeing that footprint all over, and then it start growing. You start seeing people in Russia, you start people in China. You're like, what the fuck? Listen, my shit in China? It blew your head up, bro.
Yeah. Hey, not cut you off, bud, but
no, you good.
Let me shout out to these DJs though, man. Cause a nigga that call himself Club God, I wouldn't be shit if it wasn't for DJs. Facts. Just being 100. Hey, we can talk about mixtape, we can talk about passing out CDs and all that, but DJs are the people who connect the bridge. You know what I'm saying? From it's rappers that can be popping like a motherfucker on TikTok and Instagram and all that. And I remember Slim, this was like 10 years ago, man. Slim had just bought, he always just bought a new car. He had just bought a new car. And we was at a Kurt Cobain listening party for, I think, Progression 19,000. He was making a bunch of them motherfuckers back then. And He say, hop in, BeatKing. He say, hey, man. He say, nigga, I'm Slim Thug. I'm Slim motherfucking Thug. Nigga, I'm in the club every goddamn night, and they don't play my shit. I just hear your shit. And he like, I'm out here every night. Nigga, I need a song with you so the DJs will start playing my shit. And I'm like, it hit me that night that my strength, even still to this day, is my relationship with DJs.
Hey, let me add on to that, like, just so you know. BeatKing called me up. BeatKing worked his records himself. He could have called us. He went all around the country. He went on all the DJs. I had program directors calling me and say, Lester, BeatKing got a record, man. This hot, man. Give him a call and stuff to work him out. And BeatKing, like, he felt that he had the relationships already with those guys. But I told him what he didn't have was a lawyer to go in and do other things and stuff like that.
DJs, nigga. I stalk them niggas. I know all y'all birthdays, nigga. Nigga.
BeatKing used to sit outside the club waiting for me to get out every night. This is 08, 09, 2010. And he had bangers, and we were playing them, but he still was outside the club trying to build that relationship, man. So, I got to commend you on that one.
And BeatKing, you might not know this, but when we had our show on 93.7, the Chop Not Slop show, besides Drake, you were the most played artist. Like, you can put in the Chop Not Slop show hashtag and then put in your Twitter handle, man, honestly, it's about 2,000 tweets, bro.
Hey, man, like I said, I learned a lot about Houston history today. I didn't even know motherfuckers was rapping when Thriller came out here. I didn't know that shit.
Come on,
you know
son.
what I'm saying? But I just turned 39 last month. You know what I'm saying? So I'm almost 40, man. So I'm a young old nigga. And I remember when Big Mo passed away. I remember that, and I remember when I finally turned 17, I was sneaking in clubs. Paul Wall had a club downtown called Club Play. I used to go up in there. That's where I first met Chameleon there and all that and shit. And I would be in the club and they would be playing like these Big Mo sets. And they all be on the mic all night. R.I.P. Big Mo, the Houston legend. And I was like, man, one day, nigga, I'm gonna make so many fucking songs that when I die, nigga, they gonna have to play club. Bitches gonna collapse in the club, nigga. They gonna have to play me all night. You know what I'm saying? So just hearing all these stories, I feel like all these niggas in this room with us right now, because every time you say one name, then they pop up like a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Like you summon them niggas, you know what I'm saying? So R.I.P. to all the legends. But like I say, man, I learned so much tonight, and just every time, just hearing all these stories tonight made me think about when I remember when Big Mo passed away, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna have so many songs that they gonna have to play me like for an hour. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. So yeah, man, I'm currently writing the second decade of my career now. So yeah,
Amazing. Before we get out of here, I want to leave the last word to the OG Lester. Lester, you've seen so many artists from around the world start their careers. Some of them made it all the way to the top. Some of them did make it to the second record. And you've been here in Houston watching this movement from literally the beginning up till now. Looking at artists starting all the way back with the original inception of the Ghetto Boys, all the way up to your current artist of Megan Thee Stallion. What is it that you see that's inherent in this Houston hip hop scene that allows us to succeed in a system that's pretty much designed for people that want to do it on their own to not succeed?
I think what I've noticed is that Houston artists and the Houston scene, we never had anything. You know what I'm saying? Even when I came up, even me being in the industry, being on the record side, it was always New York or Atlanta. Houston was always like the third leg or the fourth leg, you know, in the family. So, but I think one thing that I think that really helped the Houston scene, I don't know if it still goes on, is that the artists, you guys used to challenge each other. You know what I'm saying? It was a battle, but it was all in the name of good, because you guys knew the South, or if you want to call it South, or Houston had to make it in the scene. So me seeing what's going on now, and people like, I think the radio also played a big part of that. Okay, because with every CD they made, they always had the radio station support. And so back in those early days when, like Aggravated was saying, when they could play and Blaster could play whatever they wanted to play, that's when the Houston scene was came up. Then when they came in and started giving the mix show list and the DJ had to play what was on the list, that killed the whole thing. So now if you ever get back to that, not just from the radio, but artists going to the studio together. So you might go in the studio like right now, have 10 producers in there making tracks, everybody going there just making songs, and you go and hear the other rapper rap, you say, damn, that nigga hard and stuff. That brought out the best because you like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what Houston had.
Walter D and his son was on the radio at the same damn time. That's how lit the radio was back in the day.
Right.
That nigga had his son on that bitch.
and making records. So I think that's what I've seen from the national scale, because just prime example, just to give you a quick story, like Still Tippin', when that record came out, I got a call from Joe I.E. and Tom Moscovich, who was over at Asylum. So they hired me independently to work Still Tippin'. So my whole goal was, this is fucking Houston record. I'm gonna make sure this shit works. So my whole goal was to put that out to the whole country so that record could be seen, and then we got it top 10, top 5 where we went on the radio. So those are some of the backstories that people don't understand. But 90% of it, if you wanna make this business, the music can be great, but you gotta market it. If you don't market the music, I don't care how good you're, it's not going to work, because you got to spend some type of marketing to promote the music, or it's not going to be heard.
Facts. And that's the beautiful thing about Houston, is that we don't wait for somebody to market us. We do it ourselves. Yep. We've always done it ourselves, and we have the history, the legacy, and goddamn it, the plaques and the money to prove it. You put that on Jay Prince. Everybody, thank y'all so much for coming out tonight. I know we went a little long on some of these breaks. I'm probably gonna have to get a venue some extra money, because I was supposed to stop at 11 o'clock, but it was worth it. Donnie, thank you so much, man, for really helping curate this thing.
Shout out to Donnie, motherfucking Houston. For real. Man.
And for those people that couldn't make it to this event, or for those of y'all that did make it, that would like to go back and look at this, and in case you might have missed something, getting a burger or going to the bathroom, Donnie, this will be available for people.
It'll be on the podcast Monday.
So this is a special edition of the Donnie Houston Podcast, 50 Years of Houston Hip Hop Edition. Thank you all for being a part of it. God bless you. And here's to 50 more years of hip hop from A-Sound, baby!
And accumulation.
Donnie Houston.
Subscribe to the Donnie Houston Podcast, man.
Oh yeah.